Hello everyone and welcome to the 24 Hours of Spa, which is a fundraiser for breast cancer now, a charity dedicated to providing the best treatment services and care for people affected by breast cancer. We have currently, I believe, 35 cars on the grid. We are in the qualifying session for this race. The 24 Hours of Spa will be underway shortly. The current fastest lap time is a 2:16.180. That is set by Kim Max Hustle in the number 444 Mustang. A very fast lap time there, and you can see that P2 has only done 0.02 of a second slower in the number 1 Lexus of Sotskov. That's the VDES Portal Lexus that has done that lap time. That was a 2:16.182. So as I said, 0.02 of a second that was separating P1 and P2 at the moment. P3 is followed up by Danielle Catado at the moment with a 2-minute 16.605. That is 0.4 slower than P1 and P2 at the moment, but of course there is 10 minutes left of this half an hour qualifying session, so there is more than enough time for Danielle to go back out and set a lap. Now, this race, as I said, 24 hours of Spa. There is donation penalties active for this race, so you can donate money to breast cancer now and have people be penalised live. You can donate ballast, you can donate penalties, etc. So please do check out the website is acm-racing.com/fundraiser for more information about the penalties this race. There is 24 hours. Donation penalties will be applied towards the end of the hour for the normal stints, then every 6 hours donation penalties will be applied live. So very interesting race that this is shaping out to be, and the qualifying is of course getting quite tight out there at the moment. Further down the grid we have a few cars which are about 2 seconds down of the 2:16 that was set by Max Hustle. Svantis is in P15 at the moment with a 2:18.317. Number 76 Porsche is not on a fast lap at the moment, but will be going on to a new fast lap as they cross the line. They're currently in P15. They're about 0.2 back from P14 at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what they can gain. But just behind, just 0.005 of a second behind, we have Gamer Extreme for Chimera Racing at the number 964 McLaren. They've set a 2:18.322, which, as I said, is literally 0.005 of a second slower than P15. So it is very close between these guys at the moment. It seems like we've just had a new fastest lap up at the top, and that's true. Kim Max Hustle has set a 2:16.025 in the number 444 Mustang, and that was sets him 1.5 faster than Sotskov in the number 1 Lexus, who again is also on a fast lap and is currently 0.2 up on their time as they come through the bus stop chicane, up to 0.3. We'll see if they lose or gain any time. The losing time slightly, 2.5, 2/10 now. They cross the line and they will just miss out on P1 again by 0.07 of a second. This qualifying session has come down to. There is 8 minutes left of this qualifying session, so of course Sotskov will be able to go back out and set another lap. It is Lexus versus Mustang at the top. We have a new P3 as well. Chris Davis for the CRT Mustang team has set a 2:16.567. That is about 0.5 slower than P1 and P2 at the moment, but they are 0.03 of a second faster than P4. P4 is currently Nathan Smith-Adams for Bola Squad Racing BSR number 274 Aston Martin with a 2:16.597 at the moment. They are on a fast lap at the moment, so 1/10 up on that lap as it stands. The number 155, which was originally in P3, is of course 0.008 of a second back from P4, and is only 0.04 of a second back from P3, and they are not on a fast lap at the moment, so we'll be setting a new lap as they come across the line. But of course very tight up here at the top. P3, P4, P5 separated by 0.04 of a second in this qualifying session. P1 and P2 of course is the closest that we've got out on track. Sotskov is coming back out for another attempt at that fastest lap. 0.007 of a second they missed out on that P1 spot by, but of course they will be looking for a new lap to beat that. We'll head back down the grid. Peltari is the first driver outside of a second back from P1 with a 2:17.227 at the moment. Of course, that is still a very fast lap time in the number 151 BMW, but of course, the Kim Max Hustle, Sotskov up at the top are very fast, so a 2:16.9 2:15.55 is still incredibly fast, and that has improved once again to 2:15.7 as Kim Max Hustle smashes into the wall, but they are now 0.2 of a second faster than Sotskov, or their fastest lap is at least. So Sotskov will be coming across the line this lap to start a new lap, and of course there is 6 minutes left of the qualifying session, so about 3 or 4 laps remaining to gain that time, but of course we will be seeing what Sergei Sotskov can do. Chris Davis still in P3 at the moment, not on a fast lap at the moment, so we'll be seeing what they can do on the next one. Cataldo has just started their lap. They're coming up through Eau Rouge at the moment. That's 0.03 of a second up on their lap. That would be enough to promote them into P4 at the moment. Of course, they are only 0.008 of a second back from P4, so they just need to keep that lap as it is, and they'll be promoted up to P4. But of course, the more seconds that they can gain, or the more hundredths of a second they can gain, the better. We'll be seeing what they can do throughout this lap. I have downloaded the liveries about half an hour ago, so unfortunately if there are some carbon coloured cars out there, as you can see the Mustang and I believe the Aston Martin is also carbon. I do apologise, but I did sync my liveries. It is due to people not uploading their liveries that these cars aren't there. But nonetheless, there are still some quite good liveries out there. Daniel Cataldo in the ISS racing team, of course, the blue Mustang looking very spectacular out there with the Italian flag up on the top. As I said, these guys are currently on a fast lap, 0.2 up on their lap time at the moment, which would set them comfortably in P3, but of course there is still one sector left of this lap, so we'll be seeing what else they can gain or even potentially lose. So as I said, further back down, Peltari, who was originally in sort of P8, P9, is now in P6. They've improved their lap time to 2:16.955. Of course, that is still 1.2 seconds slower than Kim Max Hustle's 2:15.7. But of course, they are going to be setting a fast lap on the next lap, so of course we'll be able to improve on that time. Currently, speaking of improvement, Nicholas Way in the number 39 Audi is currently 0.5 up on their lap, which would see them improve up into P7, potentially P8. Of course, they have set a 2:17.540 at the moment, so if they do improve the 0.8, which they are climbing at the moment, that will be a significant improvement into the 2:16s. Another one improvement just behind them is Nikita Gusev, coming out the final corner, coming across the line and setting a 2:16, but unfortunately that lap was invalidated, so they have stuck into that P11 time, but they were about 0.8 up on their lap, so there's plenty of time for them to improve. Further back on the grid, there is some other improvements going with number 12 Ferrari, 0.3 up on their lap at the moment. We'll be seeing what they can do to gain some more time. 0.4 as it goes there. Their current lap time is 2:20.4, so of course they've got about 0.6 or so back from P20, P29 if they want to improve any positions, but of course plenty of time left for them to do some laps, and hopefully we'll be seeing them climbing the order during the race as well. Back up to the top, Sotskov is coming across the line, sets a 2:16 flat on their best lap time, still about 0.2 seconds back from Max Hustle at the top, so we'll be seeing if they can climb any in these final 2 laps of the qualifying session. Of course, 3 minutes and a half remaining. Each lap time is about 2 minutes 20 seconds here at Spa, so there is not enough time for more than 2 laps. You could do 1 lap, an extra lap with the wait time, and that is it for the qualifying session. It will be into the 24 hours in whatever order is on the left hand side of your screen. Of course, this race is 24 hours long, so this order that you're seeing now will likely not reflect the end of the race, but nevertheless it will be interesting to see who can start where and who will be battling who. There is plenty of action to come in this 24-hour race, as we can see that currently Max Hustle is improving yet again. They are on a new valid lap coming up Eau Rouge at the moment, 0.4 up on their lap, moving over to the side to allow the driver to come out of the pit lane, but no major loss of time there. 0.6 up on their lap, that is incredible. I don't know whether that is actually a figure or what, but that's my time screen. It shows that they are a second up on their lap, which is a very mental lap time. We'll be seeing what happens that towards the end, but of course Sotskov will have a lot to improve to beat that. They are currently 2.7 back from Tamin, and the number 444 Mustang with 2:16.027, 1/10 up on their lap at the moment. They are on a valid lap, so we'll be able to improve this qualifying lap, but we're seeing what they can do. Of course, this race is a fundraiser for Breast Cancer Now, a charity dedicated to providing support, treatment, services, and care to people affected with breast cancer. An excellent charity and an excellent cause. And of course, if you do donate, you can give people penalties, you can give people ballast, and you can spice up the race a little bit. So please do consider checking out the fundraiser if you want to donate some money. The link to that will be posted to the stream chat in just a second. There we go. I'll pin it to the top as well. Of course, if you want to donate some money, then you can do, and of course you can donate some money to let us know what you want that money to go towards. If you want to give Taemin, for example, a 10-second penalty, you can do in the race, and of course that will be only £8 if you want to do that. So an excellent cause and an excellent way to raise money. It seems like Sotskov has returned to the pit lane now. They will finish on a 2:16.027, a very strong lap time here at Spa. Of course, it seems like there is a lot of time to be gained to Taemin, but of course, there is some very fast drivers here at ACM. You can see that the majority of drivers are about 1.5 to 2 seconds back from Taemin on the left-hand side of your screens. But at the moment, Taemin coming through for a new lap, 1/10 up on the lap at the moment. We'll be seeing what they can improve. Chris Davis, the CRT Mustang, coming through the bus stop section. They will be 2.5 tenths up on their lap. That time is dropping slightly as they come out of the bus stop. But we'll be seeing where they can improve. They set a 2:16.370. That is just less than a tenth back from P3 at the moment, and that will be the qualifying session over for Chris Davis. So an incredible performance there from Chris Davis to get them into P4. We'll be seeing what they can do in the race. You can see on the side of that car that team is made up of Blythe, Davis, and a few others. Also improving on the lap, Nathan Smith-Adams for the Boulder Squad Racing, number 274 Aston Martin. Currently 500ths up on their lap. If they do improve that 500th, it will promote them a position. They're about 2/10 back from P4 at the moment, but of course coming through the bus stop chicane, there is plenty of time to be gained. Coming across the line then, Nathan Smith-Adams, about 500ths of a second up on that time, sets a 2:16.570 and secures himself a P5 for the race. So an excellent qualifying session for Boulder Squad Racing. Sampa Peltari, number 151 BMW, will be coming across the line next. They're about 1.5 tenths up on their lap, and they will improve to a 2:16.845. No position improvement, but of course 1 second and 1/10 back from Taemin. A very strong lap time from Sampa Peltari, and we'll be seeing what they can do in the race. Kulikov coming across the line now. This is the VDES Portal number 65 car. They set a 2:17.7, so just outside of the 2:16s. A very strong position in P7 for them, about 1.2 seconds back from P1. And of course, just behind them, number 338 Powercut Racing is only 2/10 back from them. So it could be a very interesting battle between those two. To see what they can do in the race. I don't believe we have anyone improving majorly. The Bad Omen number 12 Ferrari is, of course, 1/10 up on their lap, and that may potentially promote them into P26, depending on how they do during the bus stop section. Of course, if they do gain any time, they're up to 2/10 on their time. Now they will be improving up into P26. The time to beat is a 2:19.120, and they are on a 2:19.332 at the moment. 5/10 up on their time. That's looking to be a seriously good improvement across the line. 3/10 up and improve into P25 to set a 2:19.1. Very strong qualifying session for these guys, and of course we are going to be heading into the race next. So of course we will be going on a slight break as the race server gets started. So please bear with us a moment, and we will be back shortly. Alright, welcome back everyone. We are in the race server now, so the session will be starting in the next 2 minutes or so. Apologies for that slight wait and drop in the stream there. We were just loading up the race server for the start of this race. As I said, 24 hours of Spa is about to get underway. There is donation penalties active for this race. So you can donate some money to Breast Cancer Now, an excellent charity which is looking to get the best treatment services and care for people affected by breast cancer. You can donate some money. The rules for that is on the website acm-racing.com/fundraiser. Any donated money will go directly to the charity, and you can donate some money to give people in the race ballast, penalties, etc. So please do donate. It goes to an excellent cause, and of course will spice up this race. So 1 minute left of the free practice session. We'll be switching over to the race in just a moment. Currently, we have 3 teams with negative ballast on their car. You can see on the right-hand side of your screens, car number 39 has minus 40 kilograms. Car number 965 also has minus 40 kilograms, and car number 151 has minus 40 kilograms as well. So, of course, that is £30 donated to charity if you want to see someone have minus 40 kilograms, or additionally, you can donate someone plus 40 kilograms if you also want to donate £30 to charity. There is plenty of donation options available. You can give someone a stop-go penalty, a drive-through penalty, etc. All available on the website, and of course all proceeds go to charity, which is an excellent cause. And of course the drive-through pit lane penalty here at Spa will be quite influential, so use your money wisely, and we will be seeing who wins this race. Alright, so that's the pre-practice session over. We'll be seeing the session flip over to the race session in just a moment. The grid will be lined up for the 24 hours of Spa. Of course, last year we did a fundraiser, and the year before that we did a fundraiser for a charity called Team Foster, who help with veterans in the United States. Another excellent cause. We managed to raise about £4,000, $5,000 for them. Of course, last year we did a 24 hour of Spa for Mind Mental Health UK charity, and of course we raised £4,000 for them as well. So I'm hoping that this weekend we'll be able to raise a significant amount for Breast Cancer Now, of course, another excellent cause and reason to donate. And we'll be seeing these cars set off for the 24 hours of Spa in just a moment. The grid is lined up, as you can see. I'll try and find a decent camera to start this grid. I apologize for any fast camera movement here, but you can see the grid lined up and ready to get going. We have some good liveries on the cars today. Of course, I did sync just while the session was restarting there, but I did there is some cars which do not have their livery synced, so unfortunately they will be showing up as carbon, but there is nothing else that I can do about that, unfortunately. It's a very nice Mustang at the bottom right there. I believe that is number 69, currently driven by Blythe, but I have a feeling that might change over. You see an Audi there on the bottom right, and of course plenty of Porsches and Ferraris out the grid. You see 3 Porsches in a row there, which will be an interesting battle to see. There's another Aston Martin there, the ACM Aston Martin driven by Stuart Pryor, an excellent looking livery there. On that Aston Martin, and as we head towards the rear of the grid, there's plenty of BMWs again, plenty of Ferraris, and a few McLarens here out on the grid. About 50 seconds until the formation lap will begin. You can see the Mustang that is slightly floating in the air there, that is driven by the Project Loki team. That is a car to be on the watch out for today. Of course, they do have negative 40 kilograms of ballast applied to that car, so plenty of speed that they will be having. We'll flick over to a more appropriate camera as the formation lap is about to start. We'll be seeing what can they do? Where's my team livery number 444? I did sync the liveries literally 5 minutes ago, so unfortunately, if your livery is not there, it was not uploaded correctly, or there is an issue with the upload. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do more now. Of course, during the stream, if you do wish us to spectate anyone, or you do wish us to ask any questions, or whatever it might be, please do ask. Of course, streaming for 24 hours will be the easiest thing. Of course, if you want to add some penalties or add some fun to the chat, please do let us know, and we can get ahead with whatever you require. So the cars are setting off for the formation lap. You can see number 444 leading the way of the grid. Currently in the car, I'm not sure who it is, but it is a team of 5 drivers. So we'll be seeing what they do. Stuart Pryor's just come into the chat and said forgot to press drive. Well, pit lane start is an additional challenge to this race, and of course can't say no to an additional challenge. Are you racing this race solo, or which team? Try and find you. Stuart Pryor, yeah, solo in this race, which will be interesting to see how much of this race he can do. Of course, getting to press drive is not the strongest start, but we'll be seeing what you can do from the pit lane. I'm sure it will be cleaner from the pit lane anyways, so it'll be interesting to see how it progresses. Plenty of teams out on grid. It is teams of up to 1 to 6 drivers on the grid today, so plenty of people will be swapping in and out of the cars. Of course, there is a 65-minute stint timer active on this race as well, so cars can go for no longer than 65 minutes without entering the pit lane. Do a pit stop, so it'll be interesting to see the grid broken up that way. It does eliminate the Ferrari, for example, which is able to conserve fuel quite well. That is swapped over, of course. With 65 minutes stint timer, it restricts the time that someone can spend out of the pit lane, so of course the grid is fairly balanced with that. But of course, 24 hours, 65 minutes stint timer, you may potentially be able to eliminate a stint or two out of there if you plan your pit stops correctly, but we'll be seeing how this progresses on. As I said, if you want us to support any team, or you want us to watch over any team, just let us know in the Twitch chat and we can swap over to them. There's plenty of hours to be covered on this stream, so if you do want us to switch over to anyone, just let us know. Very long formation lap here at Spa, of course. It's a track that usually takes 2 minutes 20 seconds at full speed, so of course the formation lap is about 4 minutes or so. But these guys are coming around towards the final sector now. We'll be getting lined up in double file shortly, and then heading across the line to start this race. 24 hours of Spa will be underway. We'll be seeing plenty of action, plenty of battles, and hopefully no major pile-ups, otherwise we'll have to be watching this formation lap once more. The cars weaving backwards and forwards, trying to get some heat into those tyres. Of course, nothing is as good as racing flat out, but during the formation lap, weaving is probably the best way to get some heat in there. Other cars like that Lexus, you can see, prefer to just drive and brake, which does force some heat into the tyres as well. But of course, it's up to the individual drivers / teams on what they plan. But Max Hussle set a very strong lap time in qualifying, so we'll be seeing how much they can pull away from Sotskov at the start of this race. Got someone in chat saying watch out for the Ferrari with the number 340. Of course, I will be flicking through the grid occasionally to see what's going on. The Ferrari of Noel Mazurek, number 340 Ferrari, is that very nice blue Ferrari there. Blue and pink, an excellent livery, and very topical for this race. So we'll be seeing what they can do over the duration of this 24 hours. We've got 38 cars on the grid at the moment. 2 cars are sat in the pit lane. Number 77 is sat on grid. Not sure exactly what they're doing, but we'll be seeing what happens when we come around this corner. They're lined up in double file now. We'll be heading towards the starting section of the grid very shortly. And we'll be seeing what can happen from here onwards.
'Cause I don't know what to do. 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 I don't know what to
As they are approaching the bus stop chicane, you can see here on the wing of Max Hustle's car, plenty of cars on the rear. Hopefully it's Clean Rouge, hopefully it's a clear first lap. We don't want to see any major pile-ups here, but they are ready to set off for this race. We'll be seeing what they can do throughout, but of course we are getting ready to go. I'll switch to a more appropriate angle for this race. We are lined up and we are ready to go. The lights will be red and then they'll be green, and we'll be setting off down into Eau Rouge. It's Max Hustle leading the pack. It's the green light now and they are racing down. 24 Hours of Spa is underway. You can see the cars shuffling about in the background, but at the moment it is side by side between Max Hustle and Sotskov, the Lexus versus Mustang. It is side by side at the rear. It seems like everyone has gotten through Eau Rouge carefully. There is one car which has been stranded. You can see on the right hand side track map of your screen there is one car which has unfortunately been involved in something. But as we are heading down into the second sector of the first lap, it is still Max Hustle leading, who goes wide into the corner, and that will allow Sotskov in the Lexus to push their way through into first place. Kim Max Hustle dropping back into P3 as we see Gibbon, the number 155 ISS Racing Team Mustang, taking that second place position and defending now from Max Hustle. An excellent start from Sotskov there, keeping it clean up into the second sector and allowing themselves to make the most of others' mistakes. That is up into P1 for Sotskov at the moment. Of course, they're pulling away from Gibbon at the moment. It is Lexus versus Mustang once again. Max Hustle in P3 at the moment, now fending off from the number 274 Smith Adams just behind. Further back down on the grid, there's been a position change for P10 and P11. Nicholas Way has dropped back into P11. Platon Shomurkic has gone into P10. The McLaren there taking a slightly wide corner on the exit there, but no position change or loss at the moment. Number 39 is applying that pressure to try and regain that position. They will head back up to the front of the grid to see what we can see. Chris Davis, the CRT Mustang at the moment, is in the slipstream of Smith Adams at the moment. We'll be trying to gain as much time as they can. Of course, this is the first lap of a 24-hour race. There's plenty of action to be going, plenty of time to be seeing your positions change, and plenty of time to make your move. So people will be playing careful on this first lap. We've seen about 2 or 3 cars have an incident. The car number 52 is still a yellow flag on the screen, so hopefully they are out of the way. Car number 77 and car number 11 are drifting back from the grid as well, so hopefully they will get back into the action shortly. That is Sam Zuisa, who was stranded at Eau Rouge. They have thankfully now left the session, so unfortunately will not be participating in this race, but they are out of the way of other cars, so all is good. Back down onto lap 2 now. Sotskov is still leading the grid from Gibbon from Max Hustle. Obviously we saw Max Hustle making that mistake into the second sector, making that mistake, going wide and allowing the Lexus of Sotskov and the Mustang of Gibbon to push their way through. Smith Adams has been pulled away from. 0.9 seconds now separates Max Hustle and Smith Adams, so we'll be seeing what Smith Adams can do to gain back that time. He's got about 0.3 seconds to Davis behind. That Davis is going for a look down the inside, but no dive from the Mustang there. Smith Adams is secure for another corner. You can see the Mustang in the background going slightly wide on that corner as well. There's been a slight bit of jostling for position between Max Hustle and Gibbon here. You can see Max Hustle going down the inside line between the two Mustangs there. A slight bit of contact from Smith Adams at the rear as well, who's now lost out on a position to I believe that is Kulikov in the number 65 Lexus. That position has been lost to. So that's been an interesting little battle there. Max Hustle went down the inside. Gibbon just allowed that position to begin. Didn't fight too much. Of course, they're aware that Max Hustle is much faster, so no need to fight it to the death. And of course, there is 24 hours of the race remaining. Plenty to go on. Plenty of action to happen. But that is Max Hustle up into P2 now, 0.9 seconds to Sotskov up front. Gibbon still tailing back from Max Hustle, seeing where they can gain time. It seems like Smith Adams has had another issue, unfortunately, maybe potentially a spin or something into the chicane there, but is now dropped into P13. He's fending off from Carriera in the number 777 Ferrari, but all's good, the back racing, and hopefully we'll be able to climb up those positions once again. Gamer Extreme currently has the fastest lap of this race in the Chimera Racing McLaren. These guys are 0.3 seconds back from Peltari at the moment. Peltari, the number 151 BMW, I believe, does have minus 40 kilograms of ballast applied to their car, so we'll be slightly faster than the others, but of course this is a charity race, so donating to give yourself less ballast is all good in the name of charity, so we'll be seeing who else donates some money. Gibbon 0.3 seconds back from Max Hustle, still applying that pressure to Max Hustle. It seems like Sotskov has been able to pull away from Max Hustle slightly. If we jump onto the wing of Sotskov, we can see the gap that is left between Sotskov and Max Hustle. You see the Mustang in the distance there. Sotskov is clear and free of pressure and tension at the moment. There's a car leaving the pit lane, but of course no worries to Sergey. So we'll be seeing what Max Hustle can climb back up and achieve. Gibbon 155 Mustang, 1.2 seconds back from Max Hustle. Now did lose a little bit of time towards Uru, so potentially a little bit of unsteadiness on the exit of the corner. But you can see there that Kulikov has actually made their way past on the straight there, using the straight line speed of the Lexus to their advantage. We'll be seeing what they can do for P2 as well. Gibbon is back down in, I believe, their starting position. No, just one less than their starting position. They're starting in P3, now down in P4. They did have a few battles on the start of this race, but of course this is the first hour of a 24-hour race. Drivers have an entire day to get their position sorted, so no major worries from the drivers here. Driver of interest, number 65, Nikolai Kulikov, is 5 positions up from their starting position. They started in P8, they're now up in P3, so a very fantastic start for the VDES portal. Number 65, Lexus, a little bit of flashing to that blue flag in front as well. That blue flag is one of the ones that we saw leaving the pit lane at the start of this lap, so hopefully we'll be seeing these guys give way shortly. Pulling across to the outside of the corner there, allowing Kulikov to go through, and Gibbon will be the next one to go past and fight for that position. Back towards the P11, P12 positions of the grid. Nathan Smith-Adams is going up the inside of the number 76 Avantis Porsche. Obviously, Smith-Adams had the incident on the first or second lap, which caused them to lose some positions, but is now fighting to get those positions back. Very close between the number 76, 274, and even the Ferrari of, I believe that's Carriera, number 777 DMF course Ferrari, looking to get involved in this action. Plenty of battling going on there. We'll see from the POV of Fabio that the number 76 Porsche is all over the rear of that Aston Martin. Seems like the Aston Martin is pulled away slightly into that braking zone though, so not as close as it was previously. Obviously Smith-Adams started in P5 and is now down in P11, so of course we'll be looking to gain back those positions. There's a little bit of a tussle between Gamer Extreme and Jurgens at the moment. Jurgens in the number 338 BMW is in front at the moment, with Gamer Extreme on the rear of that BMW, trying to gain the slipstream down the straight. Has a look to the inside for Rouge. Of course, no move can be made through there. A little bit unsteady on the rear of that McLaren through the Rouge chicane though, but nothing too major. Gamer Extreme is still on the rear of Jurgens into this corner. We'll jump on board, see if any position is attempted. Brakes at the normal point. Jurgens is quite late on the brakes, but makes the apex nevertheless. A better corner for Gamer Extreme. Of course, braking earlier, getting the better apex and allowing themselves a smoother set of corners. They'll be on the rear now of the number 338 BMW once again, looking to the outside as Jurgens is diving a little bit late and almost coming into contact with the blue flagged Ferrari there, but no major issue. The blue flag Ferrari goes to the outside of the corner and allows those positions to be gone past. Gamer Extreme loose on the rear once again, so lost out a bit of time to Jurgens in front on the exit of that corner, but of course we'll be looking to reapply the pressure throughout the rest of this lap. Further back on the grid, Nicholas Way, we've just seen making an overtake on Moiseev. They're now 0.8 seconds back from Gamer Extreme, 0.4 seconds in front of Moiseev, so I don't think there'll be anything too major between these guys, but we'll be keeping our eye on things. Patrick Krell has just been overtaken by Zach Webb. Zach Webb obviously started from the rear of this grid, the number 965 Mustang for Project Loki. Very fast Mustang, and of course these guys are on minus 40 kilograms of donated ballast as well, so plenty of speed that Mustang will be having. They did just make the overtake on Patrick Krell, so they are now up in P15 for this race, so plenty of more positions to be gained. They're about 1.4 seconds back from Grebnev in P14 at the moment, so we'll be seeing what they can gain. Fabio Carriera is still back on the rear of Cervantes, 0.1 seconds on this number 76 Porsche. Of course, we saw on the previous lap Nathan Smith-Adams making the overtake on the rear of Cervantes, but of course they made their way past. Carriera tried to get their wheels in there and gain the position as well, but of course wasn't able to do so, and is of course now stuck behind Carriera, about 1 second back from the Porsche, now looking to gain as much time as they can as they start the 5th lap of this race. Up front, Peltari is the closest of the top 10, 0.9 seconds back from Davis at the moment. You can see another Ferrari leaving the pit lane on the inside there. People leaving space for each other very nicely, and of course that Ferrari potentially repairing damage coming out, and of course we'll be looking to gain back their time. Smith Adams then will jump on board with us. He's going to look and gain those positions that they lost during lap 1. Number 274 Aston Martin, 4 places back from their starting position, and of course is on the rear of the number 39, driven by Nicholas Way at the moment. Looks to the inside, doesn't go for a dive though, probably the smart thing to do. You see a McLaren up front getting a little bit unsteady around the corner there, both going around the blue flagged Ferrari as well. A better exit for Smith Adams. I think Nicholas Way potentially unsettled by the blue flag on the inside of the track there. It's going to be a dive for Smith Adams up the inside. We'll switch to the helicam, and that position is gained by the exit of that corner. So very good position gain from Smith Adams there. Nicholas Way dropped down into P10, but I don't think that position was going to be defended for long from Nathan Smith Adams. And of course, it's not worth defending that hard during the first hour of a 24-hour race. There's plenty of action to come, plenty of position changes which can happen. So we'll be seeing what else Smith Adams can do. Of course, he's on the rear of Gamer Extreme at the moment. 0.3 seconds separate these guys. Gamer Extreme started in P12, up in P8 in the moment, so very good start from Gamer Extreme, but of course that is being threatened by Nathan Smith Adams at the moment. That Aston Martin all over the rear of the McLaren, lifting slightly on the corner there to get the good exit. Going to be looking for a dive potentially around the outside here onto the bus stop chicane. Goes around the outside of the first chicane. We'll have the inside for the next chicane, and that position again will be gained very nicely by Nathan Smith Adams up into P8 now as Gamer Extreme will be put under pressure by Nicholas Way. The OLR Audi is putting on some pressure to the Chimera Racing McLaren now around the outside from Nicholas Way. It's going to be a worse exit for the McLaren on the inside, but it seems like it's fairly equal on the drag race down to Eau Rouge. I think it's going to have to filter into single file before Eau Rouge, because of course you can't go side by side through Eau Rouge, and it has done. Game Extreme is leading from Nicholas Way. Nicholas Way is incredibly close to the rear of that McLaren. And of course Moiseev, the number 587, is on the rear of Nicholas Way as well. He jumps out to the inside, looks for a move down the inside. Of course Gamer Extreme will be loving this because he's no longer under pressure from Way. Way breaks way earlier, or way later than Moiseev, so he's able to maintain their P10 position. And of course number 76 Porsche, who's seen quite a lot of battles with, is looking to get in on this action as well. That's P12 for the number 76, 0.8 seconds back from the battle that's happening up front. You can see the Mustang, I believe that's a blue flag that is just giving way to people there, going to the outside now, allowing the number 76 to go through nicely. Excellent etiquette from the blue flags here. You can see the gaggle of cars up ahead. Moiseev is on the inside of Way. This one makes their way through on the inside of that corner, runs wide. Nicholas Way has the better exit, of course, sticking to the tight apex, and is able to gain back that position on the exit of that corner. It seems like Moiseev will have the inside, but isn't able to brake as late as the Audi, and it seems like the number 76 is losing the position now to the number 21 the number 965 Mustang as well. As plenty of action going on here. It seems like that might be potentially a blue flag that's caught up in the mix of this. Zach Webb chooses to go for a cleaner exit of this corner. Of course, we'll be looking to gain a position on number 76 next, and as the McLaren of 587 at 1.5 seconds in front. I believe the McLaren that's in front of your screens is a blue flag, so hopefully they'll be getting out of the way soon. It's not very smart to go side by side through that corner, but luckily they decide to back out. We'll potentially see that position given way into this corner though. Zach Webb. Oh, actually, that was Moiseev. That was that Mustang, McLaren. Sorry, I do apologise for the mistake there. But it seems like the number 76 is on the apex of that curb, trying to gain that position as well. It is three-way into the 7th lap of this race. Moiseev on the outside for this corner. Zach Webb up the inside, and looking to gain as much as they can. A little dive from the Porsche there. That was the Porsche of, I believe, potentially Grebnev. That made the dive there and made significant contact with the other Porsche, unfortunately causing a collision. Looks like they are waiting for the other Porsche to rejoin racing though. which is a kind thing to do. But of course, that did slightly disrupt that battle that we were having in P10. It seems like those gaps have spread out a lot more now, though. Nicholas Way, 0.3 seconds back from Gamer Extreme. This was the original battle which was happening before all of the action started occurring. And Zach Webb is now 1.8 seconds back from number P10, Nicholas Way. Advantis 2.5 seconds back from Zach Webb, and Corral in the number 48. Porsche is 0.5 back from the number 76. Whew. Finally gets to catch my breath there. Max Hussle has finally caught up to Sotskov in the P1, P2 fight. We'll be seeing these guys battling very soon. Of course, we saw Max Hussle sending a late corner and going wide on lap 1, allowing Sotskov to gain that P1 position. He's now 0.8 seconds back from Sotskov. Peltari, 0.6 seconds back from Davis as well. Potentially a battle brewing between these guys, but the gaps further back definitely have spread out a little bit. Zach Webb is now 0.9 seconds back from Nicholas Way. Of course, this was one of the original battles that we had as well, which is now re-emerging. Zach Webb for Project Low-Key started at the rear of the grid. And that car in front, I believe, is a blue flag, so we'll be hopefully giving way to Zach Webb. Sampa Peltari, 151. These guys have minus 40 kilograms of ballast applied to their car, so we'll be faster down the straights. But of course, the Mustang does have that straight line speed advantage as well. That is Chris Davis in front. They have a 5-second penalty at the moment, so of course had some contact during the start of this race. So when it comes to the pit stops, they'll be serving that 5-second penalty then. So at the moment, as it currently stands, Sampa Peltari doesn't technically have to battle for this position, but of course we'll be doing so anyway. It's 40 minutes at least until the pit stops, so plenty of time for more positions to be gained. The Mustang of Davis going wide there. Peltari able to stick to the inside line, but potentially a better exit for that Mustang there. Wider apex once again for the Mustang. It seems like Peltari had the better line, but wasn't able to get the speed on the exit of the corner, so still 0.4 seconds between these guys. Peltari just looking to keep it clean and consistent now. I believe the difference in lap times between these guys is about 0.5. Peltari, actually Peltari is faster than Davis on the fastest lap. It was P6 and P7 that I was looking at. So potentially Peltari has the speed on Davis. We'll be seeing what Davis can do to defend that position up front, but it is P5 for P6 at the moment. I'm not sure what other battles we have. We have Zach Webb on the rear of Nicholas Way again, 0.2 seconds between these guys. I have a feeling that Zach Webb with that minus 40 kilograms of ballast will just breeze past Nicholas Way on this straight. If not, they'll make a move into the bus stop. It's looking to the inside for Zach Webb at the moment. It's going to be side by side through this section of corners. Not the easiest to do, so both cars will have to lift to go side by side, but both have done it brilliantly. Being pushed right to the outside there, but it seems that position has been suitably gained by Zach Webb there, and that is up to P9 for Zach Webb at the moment. Nicholas Way dropping into P10. From the start of this race, they are now equal with their starting position, so nothing lost significantly between these guys, but we'll keep our eye on it to see what Nicholas Way can do. Fabio Carriera for DMF Course Ferrari is now on the rear of the number 48 Porsche. 0.4 seconds between these guys, and of course the two Porsches that you see in front of you are battling for position as well, so a three-way battle that is brewing up here. We'll jump back on board with Peltari, who is still 0.5 seconds back from the number 69 Mustang of Davis at the moment. We'll be seeing what they can do. As I said, this race is a fundraiser for the charity Breast Cancer Now, an excellent charity and excellent cause to donate money to, and of course you can apply penalties for donations. So if you donate to charity and you apply an appropriate message regarding that, you will of course be able to get a penalty applied to someone at the end of this hour. Max Hussle is putting the pressure on Scott Sotskov at the moment. This is, of course, the battle for P1, which we saw earlier, not end too well. Max Hussle goes slightly too wide, allowing Sotskov to breeze past, but of course that battle is now resuming. Very late braking for the Mustang on that one, having to go slightly wide as a result to avoid running into the back of the Lexus, so a few tenths of a second dropped back from P1, P2. We'll keep our eye on that battle, but we'll go back into P24 at the moment as there is a side-by-side battle between Draglin and Galimov at the moment. Draglin has to go wide on the exit of that corner, so losing out the position to Daman as well. Potentially dropping back even further, but seems to be okay at the moment. Dalman will now be on the rear of Galimov to see what they can gain. Bjorkman up front in the number 275 Aston Martin for Baller Squad Racing. Of course, the teammate of Smith Adams, who we've seen in plenty of battles today, is in P21 at the moment, 0.4 seconds back from Mazurek in front. Grebnev has just been overtaken by Balawender. The number 727 Porsche, which we are on board with, has been dropped down into P19 by Balawender, taking that position. A bit of a wiper action there, I think, by mistake from Grebnev. But nevertheless, that has the position being gained for Balawender. We've just seen what they can do. 1.1 seconds back from Moiseev at the moment. Of course, Moiseev was the one that we saw having the issue earlier with the Porsche. Dropped down to P17, but they do have, of course, a few seconds to gain in front. Alright, jumping back on board with the action. Gibbon up front is on the rear of Kulikov. We saw Kulikov take that position earlier on in the race. 0.1 seconds exists between these guys at the moment. Gibbon looks to the inside, doesn't make a dive, but does gain a few tenths on braking. Now going through the bus stop, looking for the best exit that both of them can get. It's Mustang versus Lexus, both very good on their straight line speed, so I'm not sure there'll be anything too major happening between these in the next few straights, but we'll be seeing what can happen. Of course, a very tight apex from the Lexus there, getting a little unsteady on the exit, but nothing too major. They'll still have a good speed carried into Eau Rouge. How many cars are there total in the race? There's 38 on grid at the moment, so plenty of cars out on the track. There's 2 cars on the pit lane at the moment, so 36 on the actual track circuit that are racing, and of course hopefully those 2 that are in the pit lane do come out and get back to racing. We've got some support for car number 587 in the chat. Car number 587 driven by Moiseev at the moment. Of course we saw them have the slight incident with the Porsche a few laps ago, but they have just been overtaken by Balawender, so Balawender again under the position that has been gained. That's 2 positions in 2 laps for Balawender. Moiseev dropping back into P18, of course, as a result of that incident they had. They've dropped 7 positions since the start of this race. They started in P11, currently in P18, looking to gain what they can back, though. It seems like there was a position change between Gamer Extreme and Carriera as well. Carriera is now in P12, Gamer Extreme in P13, but due to that blue flag, I believe there is going to be a fight for that position to be back. It's a tight apex for both cars though, so I don't think anything will come from this, but we'll keep our eye on things. Even up front, still on the rear of Kulikov, 0.3 seconds exists between these two cars. It's Mustang versus Lexus. As I said, both have similar straight line speeds. Neither of the cars have minus 40 kilograms of ballast. So both are on stock ACC balance of power. Of course, the ballast that is applied for today's race is donated, so if you donate some money to breast cancer now, you will see your donations result in penalties. Just let us know what you want and it will be done. We've had ballast mainly so far, but hopefully throughout the race we'll have some penalties which are applied as well. Of course, if you do a drive-through or a stuck-go penalty here at Spa, it is detrimental to the race effort, so we'll be seeing what happens later on in this race. First hour though, not many donations, not much will change the finishing results, so most people are saving their money until the end of this race. Gibbon still on the rear of Kulikov at the moment, the ISS Racing Team Mustang just sticking behind, 0.3 seconds between these guys. Balawenda has made another move. It's just constant overtakes for Balawenda at the moment. That was P16 that was gained from Kobe Fours in the 33 BMW. Balawenda starting in P35, currently in P16 at the moment, so a very good job that they've been having so far. Their next target will be Chermenk in P15. There's about 4.9 seconds between these guys, so of course will be at least half a lap before Balawenda is close. Of course, that Lexus is very fast. I think Balawenda is attempting to do a last to first, similar to the last to first attempt that Zach Webb is currently doing. Zach Webb, of course, has minus 40 kilograms of ballast applied to them at the moment, so we'll be looking to do what they can throughout this race. Peltari still on the rear of Chris Davies. We saw Chris Davies and Peltari battling a few laps ago. 0.6 seconds exists between these guys at the moment, so we'll keep our eye on things. Kulikov 0.4 seconds to Gibbon in front, and Gibbon is some seconds back from Max Hussle, who is of course 0.3 seconds back from the lead of this race. Moiseev has gained the position on Forbes. They are back up into P17. Seems like Forbes went wide on that corner, allowing Moiseev to make the position gain there. Seems like there is a bit of a battle here between Moltoni and Pryor. Pryor, of course, going for the solo 24 hours of Spa. Moltoni around the outside there, nothing too major, no position change made. And they are now dropping back. 0.4 seconds exists between those two, and they are under a bit of pressure from Castellan in the number 455 McLaren there. Very nice livery on that McLaren. We'll try and get a good angle of it there. Transmission Racing Team on the rear of Moltoni at the moment. Jumping back up front, Nicholas Way has gained that position on Jurgens. Seems like Jurgens is slow, so potentially a bit of damage or something there. Jurgens is now spun out, so unfortunately is dropping positions like anything, and is you see all the cars blitzing past. They're going to be reversing to hopefully rejoin the track safely. You see the cars just going onto the curb. They've got a clear gap now, so they are rejoining, but they have lost out significantly. They're now down in P19 from that little spin that they had. Of course, Peltari, Nicholas Way, who we saw making that position gain, was able to do it and now has 6 seconds to gain on Zach Webb. Can I ask entertaining questions? Yes, of course, please do. It's not the easiest to commentate for so long by yourself, so of course if you've got any questions or you want to watch anyone, then let me know and I will do so. What's the most difficult corner for me at Spa? That's an interesting question, that. There's plenty of corners obviously here at Spa. It's a 2-minute 20 lap time. I think the corner with the biggest risk is Eau Rouge, because of course you have to go so fast through there, and if you make the slightest mistake you are into the wall, and because you're going so fast that damage is significant. We saw obviously at the start of this race 1 or 2 cars have an incident at Eau Rouge and were sent to the back of the grid as a result, but yeah, I think Eau Rouge probably the one with the most risk. At least I can't really think of any others which are significantly hard with at least a bit of risk. What about yourselves? If you've got a corner or something which you find the most dangerous, let me know and we can talk about it. Max Hussle still 0.4 seconds back from Sotskov. Further back, Carriera now 0.1 seconds back on the number 76 Porsche. Number 76 Porsche has had plenty of action this race so far. It's now looking up the inside from Carriera, getting a little bit unsteady on the inside though after touching the grass, so we'll be dropping back into single file. Potentially going to be looking for a late dive into the bus stop though. And through the bus stop chicane very nicely there. Carriera is going to be having a little bit of a look in the mirror as well. 1 second back that Gamer Extreme is from Carriera. There's a bit of a battle here between Forbes and Moiseev as well. Moiseev, who we've seen gaining back positions from their contact earlier in the race, is a bit of a switch up from Forbes, who's broken very late for that corner and has gone shooting up the inside, and as a result has gone wide. So that position has been gained by Moiseev now. Up into P16 goes Artem, number 587 McLaren. Max Hussle has dropped back slightly from Sotskov as well. I think we had something happen earlier on in this lap. 0.9 seconds now exists and they are on an invalid lap, so potentially going too wide on a corner like they did at the start. No Name corner or Porn, I think, are the most demanding in terms of braking and turning downhill. No Name is quite tough. It feels like it's a fast corner, but it's not. Yep, it's a very good point. You have to be very accurate on your inputs through those corners to get the good exit. Of course, if you do mess up your exit into a straight or a semi-straight, you are at risk of those behind. We've seen it plenty of times in today's race, and I'm sure we'll see it plenty of times more. That straight line speed does matter significantly here at Spa. We saw the Lexus making the move in the first few laps of the race, just diving down the inside into the braking zone, and that position was gained. It's a very common thing to do, especially if you're in a Lexus or a Mustang. Those cars do have the best straight line speed here on ACC, so of course do have the best chances for an overtake on a straight. Carriera still chasing back the 76 Porsche. Of course, they were side by side this previous lap, but Carriera became slightly unstable on the inside of this corner. They've now dropped back 0.6 seconds back from P10. Max Hussle still in P2 at the moment. It's looking to be an interesting battle between these two as the pace is fairly similar. You can see the speed that Max Hussle is gaining now though. See just how much time that Mustang gained into this corner. Of course, he'll have to brake slightly earlier as a result of the slipstream. Max Hussle makes that corner perfectly. Lexus making the apexes very nicely as well and gaining some time in the exit as a result. This number 444 Mustang, the team is from South Korea, so obviously are in an entirely different time zone to the league. ACM Racing is a league based in Europe, so of course does host their races based on European time, but of course Max Hussle being from South Korea, having to participate in this late at night. Of course, in a 24-hour race, you're going to be up at random times anyways, but of course it's good to see these guys participating from around the world. ACM Racing is a racing league that hosts an endurance race every weekend for 6 weeks straight, followed by one break weekend, followed by another 6 weeks of endurance racing. Throughout the week, we have 5 sprint events as well, so we have Tuesdays every week off of racing. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays and Sundays always have a race though, between half an hour to 3 hours long, so plenty of events and races to come and join in with ACM Racing. This event is 24 hours of Spa. This is a fundraiser for breast cancer now, an excellent cause, an excellent charity, and of course an excellent way to raise money. We are doing donation penalties in this race. You can donate for people to be given penalties or ballast and so on. So of course if you do have some spare money and you want to see some positions changed around, you consider spending some money and donating to charity, and of course we can see penalties being applied. There's a bit of a spin there from number 340, Noel Mazurek. Chaos Racing, Ferrari, they're getting back in the action though. I'm not sure whether they lost any positions, potentially lost a position to P32 from Andorra, who they are now 1 minute 20 seconds back from. But they're able to get back racing. Not sure there was any damage on their car, so all is good. Stuart Pryor attempting this race solo, 0.7 seconds back from P22 at the moment. Of course, doing a 24-hour race solo is a massive task. It's something you have to plan for weeks to do. You have to get your body ready to do so many hours in the rig at once. But of course, Stuart Pryor is attempting it and has attempted it well so far. In P22 at the moment, 0.5 seconds from P22. We'll be looking to gain what they can throughout the race. Grebnev, 0.7 seconds back from Forbes at the moment. That's the battle between P17 and P18. Dremk, 0.6 seconds back from Kral, and up front we've got Cervantes, who is just behind Carriera as well. Of course, these two we saw battling earlier in the race. Carriera trying to get past Cervantes, has seemingly finally done so, and is now looking to fight back for that position. Seems like unfortunately Pryor has come into some contact, has an incident with, I believe that was car 45 there, and it seems like Pryor is on the side of the racetrack at the moment. Hopefully they get back to racing, as I was looking forward to seeing where they could come on this 24-hour race, but unfortunately they are losing positions by the second now. Car number 45, the Toga Racing Kevin Pakiri, who was the one that they had contact with, is now in P24. There was potentially a position lost to Castellan and Moltoni there as well. Up front, Patrick Kral has made their way past Cheremk. Cheremk is now fighting back that position, makes slight contact with the number 48 Porsche and gains back that position. Potentially one for the stewards to look at there. Of course, there is live steward in this race. You can see the penalties applied on the left-hand side of your screens. Full 24 hours of this race is stewarded. And we'll be seeing penalties coming throughout the race. Balawenda and Kral are now battling for position. Balawenda, who we've seen making plenty of position gains recently, is now fighting for P14 with Patrick Kral. Patrick Kral in the Porsche is also looking to gain on Trent. Balawenda looking to get the switch back there on the number 76 Porsche, number 48 Porsche, sorry. Nothing too major there, braking slightly cautiously from Balawenda there as well, looking to get a tight apex compared to the Porsche, which went slightly wider the apex. It'll be a better exit for the number 23 Lexus. And of course the Lexus does have the straight line speed here as well, so we'll be looking to gain as much as they can down the straight. Only a slight lift from Balawenda there. But we'll be in the slipstream down this straight. We're looking to move out on the rear, on the side, on the inside of the number 48 Porsche there, heading down into Sector 2, Turn 1. And they go up the inside and make that position. Slight bit of contact on the exit there from 48. Nothing too major. Both cars managed to hold their place, and that position was gained by Balawenda. So interesting to see what could be achieved there, and that is P14 for Balawenda now, after they've had plenty of battles from their starting position in P35. They're up into P14, 1.9 seconds back from Jeremk in the number 3 McLaren at the moment. Max Hussle, we keep flicking back on to see how this battle is carrying on. Number 444 Mustang, 0.5 seconds back from Sotskov still. I have a feeling that this battle will remain for a while at least. Jurgens 0.3 back from Grebnev at the moment. Grebnev also 0.8 seconds back from Forbes. We saw Forbes in a battle with Moiseev just the lap prior. Schulz 0.3 back from Damon in front as well. Schulz getting a little unsteady on the apex of that corner, having a worse exit, nearly running into the barrier, but keeping it on track nice and steady. Jurgens looking for that move on Grebnev. Nothing was able to be done out of that corner. Grebnev, of course, has now lost time to Forbes in front and has actually given that position away to Jurgens. Jurgens is now being promoted into P18, will now be fighting for P17, looking to catch up to Forbes in front, and Grebnev taking the smart decision potentially to not get into a battle in the first hour of a 24-hour race, but we'll be seeing what continues. Dremk 0.5 seconds back from Gamer Extreme. Gamer Extreme, who we've seen in plenty of battles so far. Looking to just keep it clean and consistent for his team. He's in a team of, I believe, 3 people. So Gamer Extreme, Alvis Shizuro and Blake Brenner will be swapping between each other for this 24-hour race. We'll see what Gamer Extreme can achieve in this first hour. Of course, there is a 65 minute stint timer active on this race, so we'll be seeing drivers come into the pit lane during the next 25 minutes or so, and of course positions will shuffle about due to damage, different strategies in pit stops, etc. We've got some support in chat for car number 727 as well. Grebnev is 0.6 seconds back from Jurgens. We'll switch back on board to what we were just seeing there. There was Tremnik went for the position on Gamer Extreme. Gamer Extreme had to run slightly wide. I'll see if I can go back and find us a replay of that. Going down into the chicane, then move up the inside from the McLaren, and the Gamer Extreme McLaren just getting slightly unsteady on the rear of the car and ended up being pushed wide after a result of contact. Lost out a few positions as a result there, but nothing too major. They're still in P14, just getting that position back from P15 as well, so we'll be able to fight back those positions. Balawenda, another position gained as a result of that, 0.7 seconds back from Cheremnik now as well. Balawenda, of course, that's the driver that started in P35, up in P31 or in P13 at the moment, so plenty of positions gained. We'll jump back down to car number 727, who we saw had some support in chat for. Car number 727, that's the Grebnev Porsche, is going into the pit lane, so potentially getting an early pit stop in, or potentially repairing damage or something like that. But they are in the pit lane now, and they will be losing out slightly as a result of that. Gamer Extreme is also in the pit lane now as well, so potentially doing an early pit stop in the number 964 McLaren. Zach Webb was another driver who started in the back of the field. P34 they started at, 26 positions have been gained so far. They're in P8 and the number 965 Mustang. These guys have been donated minus 40 kilograms of ballast as well, so we'll be slightly faster than the rest of the field. Up at the front, Max Hussle still 0.3 seconds back from Sotskov. I think this will come down to the pit lane between those two now. Zach Webb will go on board with, see what they can do for Smith Adams. Smith Adams, who we saw having a bit of contact earlier, has been gaining back those positions slowly. He's now 7 seconds back from Peltari in P6, and he's obviously fending off from Zach Webb now at the moment as well. So 2 drivers looking to gain back those positions. Zach Webb, as we know, a very fast driver, and of course with that minus 40 kilograms of ballast is very fast on a straight, so we'll be looking to potentially make a dive into the bus stop now as well. Looks to the inside, goes for the dive. Will it be side by side? No, it won't. Not enough position, not enough time was gained there. But it's a very clean bus stop from the Aston Martin. The Mustang will now have to filter back in behind Smith Adams to see what they can do. Better exit from the Aston Martin there as well, but of course the 965 Mustang has the minus 40 kilograms of ballast and is a Mustang, so we'll have the straight line advantage throughout this section. We'll see how much they lift throughout this section. Lifted very slightly there, but gained so much speed on the number 274 Aston Martin in front. And it looks like this will just be a sweeping manoeuvre down the straight for the Mustang. They've pulled out, they've hit a brick wall of air, but it's side by side into the corner. Late on the brakes, it goes. The Mustang is on the apex nicely and makes that move before the apex was even hit. So a very successful move there from Zach Webb, and that is up into P7 for the Mustang. As I said, a 27 place improvement from the start of their race. So very good going from these guys so far. There's been a position change in P12 and P13 as well. Balavenda and Cheremnik have gone through. Balavenda has gone through into PA12, demoting Cheremnik into P13. The grid has started to spread out further back down the field. And the position has actually changed between Max Hustle and Sotskov. It's been like that for an hour, and things changed. It seems like that was done quite early into the lap as well. I tried to go 30 seconds back, couldn't quite find it. I'll try going 60 seconds back, see if I can find it next time. But yeah, it seems like that position has been gained by Sotskov and Max Hustle. Seems like it was very early on into the lap, in towards the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2 area. So fortunately, I didn't miss that, but that position has now been gained by Max Hustle, and Max Hustle has been set free for the rest of this race. We'll see if any penalties come in through donations. Of course, you can donate to give someone a penalty, and of course, pit lane penalty here at Spa is severely influential for this race. The pit lane is so long, it's about a 50-second or so drive-through penalty at least. So of course, if you do donate a drive-through penalty to charity to a specific car, they will be impacted quite a bit. The number 155 Mustang, who is in P3 at the moment, is just keeping it clean and consistent, keeping it quiet really in P3 at the moment. These guys started the race in P3, so have been keeping it equal. They did have a few battles at the start of this race, but managed to keep it clean throughout the rest of it, and now find themselves in P3. Sotskov 0.5 from Max Hustle. They'll be looking to gain where they can on Max Hustle, of course. If they can get back in front of the Mustang, it'll be very beneficial for them. Cheremnik is still trying to gain back that position that Balavenda took on the previous lap. 0.6 seconds exists between these guys now. Balavenda is of course looking for the next position as well, though. Number 76 Avantis is the one to go for next. 0.7 seconds between these guys. It's the Porsche in front that the POV car will be looking to get past. Balavenda, another one to highlight from this race, starting in P35, up 23 positions so far, so similar to Zach Webb's journey in the Mustang. These guys are gaining those positions like it's nobody's business. The Porsche in front having a little unsteady corner there, getting very wide of the apex, and of course having that worser exit. It will be Balavenda looking to gain time through this corner as well. Difficult corners to keep yourself going good for, having to lift there slightly on the exit, so the Porsche having a much better exit compared to the Lexus. Back to the apex as you can there to try and get the car hooked around into the corner. You can see the Lexus taking plenty of curve there, and the Porsche getting a little unsteady on the exit as well. Nothing too major though, and the timings is still 0.4 seconds between these guys. Flip the apex slightly, not too much on the apex of that corner. So number 23 is now gaining time significantly on the number 76. He's looking to make this side by side as they go in towards these corners. Position is gained long before you hit the tight and fast corners. A little bit unsteady for both cars there. The Porsche running wide, the Lexus going almost sideways into that corner. The Porsche braking very late now, goes to the outside of the corner. Is potentially going to lose the place to Cheremnik as well. Cheremnik, the number 3 McLaren, who we are seeing now. diving down into turn 1. The Porsche locks up that front right tyre slightly, almost runs into the back of that Lexus, but no contact, thankfully. So good racing from these guys. Tremnik is now looking to get the speed on the straight, looks to the inside, gets a bit of that clean air behind the Porsche, sticks back to the inside for Rouge, keeps it on the track just slightly. Is gaining so much time on the Porsche now, has the Mustang on the inside. It's 3 wide down this straight, but it seems like the McLaren will be breezing past the number 76 Porsche into P12 for Tremnik now, as the number 76 Porsche again having plenty of battles this race, losing out that position though to Tremnik in the McLaren. Sotskov is still behind Max Russell. Of course, Max Russell was following behind Sotskov for majority of that first hour, and the position was changed relatively early on. "10 minutes until the donation penalties for this hour come through. So, of course, if you do want to donate some money to charity and you want to see some position changes happen, you can donate some money to charity and have penalties be awarded because of that. If you want to donate 5 kilograms of ballast, that is £4 and it is stackable. And if you want to donate 5 seconds of penalties, that's £3 and that is also stackable. And of course all proceeds go to charity as well, so it's all to a good cause and all for a good reason. A drive-through penalty £15, stop go 10-second penalty £23, and a stop go 30-second penalty is £38. So plenty of options available to you. If you want to get your penalties in, the penalties will be applied in about 10 minutes or so. And as a Ferrari on the exit of the pit lane there, it's a very dangerous position for that Ferrari, but hopefully everyone is able to navigate around it carefully. Not sure what's going on with the Mustang there, seemingly giving that position away to Sotskov. I'm not sure what entirely is going on here. The hazards are on for the Mustang in front. We'll see what happens as a result of this. Wide on the corner goes the Mustang. Had some support in chat as well for the car number 587. Car number 587 is Moiseev, who we saw having a few battles and a few bumps and scratches in this race. Moiseev has plenty of damage on that McLaren, unfortunately, so hopefully we'll be getting out back to racing. Seeing what happens there. We'll jump back on board with Sotskov, who's tailing behind the Mustang in P1 at the moment. Of course, we saw a few hazards on the start of this lap. I'm not sure entirely what was going on with the Mustang of Max Russell. The worst exit there for Sotskov. The Max Russell Mustang is climbing away from that position. Ferrari blue flag on the inside, just allowing these guys to get past nicely. Now this gap has widened, I'll jump back on board with Jurgens. Jurgens, of course, looking to gain the place on Patrick Kral in front. This is the battle for P14, P15 at the moment. Better exit from the Porsche there. BMW that we're on board with having to brake a little bit more on the exit of that corner there to not run into the back of the Porsche. Both keeping it tight to the apex, a little bit of movement on the rear of that Porsche. You can see they're getting a little bit slidey, nothing too major. The pit stops will be coming in the next 10 minutes or so, so we'll be seeing things happening. Porsche going slightly wide there, that gives the straight line speed advantage to Jurgens in the BMW, looking to stick onto the rear. A little bit of a lift there from Jurgens, not wanting to go side by side through this section of corners. Very smart idea. Of course, if you go side by side through here, you are risking going off track and having significant damage. We'll be looking for a dive down the inside of the Porsche though on this one. Makes a move on the rear. The Porsche runs slightly wide into braking. We'll have the inside line for the next corner though. They emerge out of the bus stop side by side. It's a drag race down in towards turn 1. Side by side as they cross the line. It is Jurgens in front at the moment. It will be a side by side braking battle. The Lexus the Porsche braking slightly later than the BMW. Tighter apex from the BMW though, allowing them to get the position on exit of that corner. You can see from the wing view the Porsche is not giving up that position too easily though, sticking to the inside rear of the BMW, slipping back to go single file through Eau Rouge, but we'll be looking to gain the slipstream through that corner. You can see Jurgens there having to lift and going slightly sideways on the exit of Eau Rouge, so obviously losing time, losing speed as a result of that. The Porsche won't be able to gain too much time on this corner, and the braking gains a lot of time but has to go wide in order to not run into the rear of the BMW, and I think that is the position gained for P14. Jurgens. Moltoni is now battling for P19. Castellan, I believe, has just got past. Castellan in that McLaren, beautiful livery on that car, has just gained the position into P19 from Moltoni in the BMW. William Bjorkman for Baller Squad Racing, 275. Aston Martin is on the rear of Forbes at the moment. We'll be looking to gain what they can. Seems like Moltoni is looking to gain back that position on Castellan at the moment. Both are going through this tight right-hander, almost a hairpin that corner. Who can get the better apex on this one? The McLaren is wide. Number 118 BMW keeps it tight to the apex, has a better exit, but of course that McLaren does have a bit of straight line speed advantage down to this one. The straight is not too long, so the slipstream doesn't make much difference. Moltoni 0.4 seconds back from Castellan at the moment. We'll keep our eyes on that. Bjorkman 0.5 seconds back from P16 Forbes at the moment. Balawenda is looking for his next position gain on Carriera in front. If he gets this position, it will be the top 10 gained for Balawenda. Obviously Balawenda, one of the drivers that started on the rear of the grid, so we'll be looking to gain as much back as they can. Up front, the gap between Sotskov and Max Hussel has definitely spread out a little bit. 1.3 seconds exists between these guys in P1 and P2, but of course 23 hours left of the race, plenty of battles still to happen. We'll jump back on board with Balawenda as they are getting slightly close to the rear of that Ferrari. 0.3 seconds. Tight apex for the both of them. Balawenda a little bit unsteady on the exit there, so the Ferrari having the better straight line speed down into the long left-hander. Of course, these guys will be having to come into the pit lane in the next 7 minutes, so they'll be doing their pit stop likely for tyres and fuel. I don't believe they'll be doing anything else, but potentially a few driver swaps in there as well. Of course, if these cars have damage as well, most cars will repair that damage. And of course the donation penalties will be applying throughout the next 4 minutes or so. The penalties which will be coming through during this next hour is minus 40 kilograms of ballast for car number 201. Car number 201 is down in P32 at the moment. It is the Legion Esports Freddie Whaley. They will be getting minus 40 kilograms. And then the other donation penalty which will be coming through is 20 kilograms of ballast to each of the top 5. So the Max Hussel, the number 444, Sotskov, the number 1, Gibbon, the number 155, Kulikov, the number 65, and Davis, the number 69, will each be receiving 20 kilograms of ballast. That'll draw the grid slightly closer to each other. Balawenda is now on the rear of Carriera. It is side by side. That Lexus has the straight line speed advantage, brakes later for the corner, sticks to the apex and cleanly gets that move done with no mistake. That is up into P10 for Balawenda, who has now got themselves into the top 10 after gaining 25 positions since the start of this race, doing a similar thing to what Zach Webb is doing and is currently doing on P6 at the moment. Zach Webb, of course, starting in P34, so position in front of Balawenda, and is in P7. So has gained plenty of time during this race. 0.8 seconds back from P6 Peltari at the moment. The BMW that you see in front is Zach Webb's next target. So as they come across the line to finish their 26th lap of the race, these guys will be heading into the pit lane very shortly. You can see a few drivers have already entered the pit lane to do their laps. A little bit of a lag there from Zach Webb, but hopefully nothing too major. The gaps have certainly spread out across the grid. The closest battle we have on track is this battle between Peltari and Zach Webb. The blue flag there just letting these guys through cleanly. Seems like Zach Webb has had potentially an issue there, or at least got disconnected from it. But of course he's back racing, so maybe an unstable connection, maybe not. We'll be keeping our eye on things though. Peltari is certainly under threat from that Mustang at the moment though. We'll jump on the rear wing of the BMW to see the red lights from the Mustang threatening that P6 position that Peltari currently holds. The B Motorsports BMW. Braking late into the corner. Giving it tight to the apex, Mustang behind doing a similar thing, getting slightly wider on that second apex. Nothing too major though, the straight here doesn't matter that much. Braking later does the Mustang into that corner though. You can see just how much that car rotates around these corners. Peltari will be diving into the pit lane now. So will Kulikov, Max Hustle, Sotskov, Gibbon and Kulikov. Chris Davis is the only one that will be sticking out on track. Obviously, when these cars come out of the pit stop, these positions will be jostling a little bit. You see Sergei Sotskov stopping just behind or just in front of the Mustang, which they were battling for P1 with. A little bit of a movement in the pit lane there, so unfortunately we'll be losing a little bit of time as a result of that. Smith Adams is choosing to not hit this lap as well. 1 minute and 40 seconds still to go of the stint timer. And these guys will be coming out of the pit lane now. You see Sergei Sotskov coming out. about 3.5 seconds, maybe 4 seconds back from Max Hussle. Obviously, we saw Sergei Sotskov having to adjust their pit stop a little bit. So has lost a significant amount of time to Max Hussle. 5 seconds exists between these guys now. Fortunately, that gap has widened, but we'll be seeing what they can do throughout the rest of the 23 hours of this race. Max Hussle is in chat, just expressing their feelings over the movement in the pit stop. Plus 20 kilograms of ballast, that's correct. Plus 20 kilograms of ballast was donated to the top 5. So that was the car numbers 44, 444, 1, 155, 65 and 69. They each got 20 kilograms of ballast. The car number 201 had minus 40 kilograms of ballast as well. And of course, we now are into the second hour of racing between these guys. Chris Davis, Zach Webb and Smith Adams are now in the pit lane. So of course, when the leader Tamin comes through, they will be gaining back those positions. Sotskov 4 seconds back now on this outlap, so has been gaining time throughout this lap, has gained about 1 second so far, so potentially is faster than Tamin. We'll be seeing what pace Tamin can set in this race. Nagatsev is in the other VDES Lexus, is now 0.6 seconds back from Cataldo. So Cataldo in the number 155 Mustang took over from the teammate of Lutol. Nagatsev did take over from Kulikov as well. You see that these guys going around the outside of the blue flag into that corner. Chris Davis, Zach Webb and Smith Adams both dropping down the order as a result of the pit stop. You see Zach Webb pulling out of their pit stop now. They're leaving the pit lane and going up the pit lane exit. Nagatsev and Cataldo have just passed, so Zach Webb is in P5 as it currently stands. P6, Peltari coming down the Rouge Straits. It seems like Zach Webb is comfortably in P5 for this one. Peltari has no pressure, 6 seconds between these two, so no pressure applied between them. Okay, so still 0.7 seconds back from P3. There's a little bit of a battle here between Galimov and Castellan. Castellan we saw in plenty of battles earlier on in this race as well. It is McLaren versus McLaren. A little bit of a worse exit there for Castellan. The number 720 of Galimov will be looking for a move up the inside throughout this semi-straight section. And that looks like a position gain before they even reach any of the corners. Galimov is now into P18 comfortably. Castellan dropped back into P19, all as a result of the worse exit there. Just shows how much you have to be perfect on your corner exits here at Spa. It matters so much for the speed that you have on the straights. But it is a promotion into P18 for Galimov, and they're 30 seconds back from P17, so plenty of time to gain still. We've seen what they can do. Sotskov 3 seconds back from Tamin at the moment. on board with Sotskov at the moment, has gained another second on Tamin. Tamin, the number 444 Mustang, obviously was driven by Max Hustle that first hour. Had a very strong qualifying session, a very strong first hour stint. Had a battle with Sotskov, was able to get through into that P1 position, and they did pull away. Sotskov had a little bit of a mistake in the pit lane, had to adjust the car slightly, so lost out a few seconds, but has been able to gain back these seconds so far. 2 seconds has been gained so far, 2.9 seconds remain to be caught. So potentially we'll see a battle between P1 and P2 again this hour. Blue flag Ferrari just allowing that position cleanly. Again, save 0.5 back from Cataldo now. Still this battle exists between the Lexus and the Mustang. Mustang Cataldo did start in P3, so he's in the same position they started in. They have had a few battles this race so far, but has been able to keep their position. But Negatesev is looking to change that. 0.5 seconds exists at the moment. Very late on the brakes there for Negatesev, almost run into the rear of Cataldo into the braking section. Did lose out a bit of time as a result, but still 0.8 seconds between them. Balawenda looking for another position. 0.2 seconds between these two. This is the Audi of Nicholas Way in front. Balawenda looking to gain that P9 position. We saw Balawenda go into that top 10 not too long ago. Had some more donations coming through. Got minus 20 kilograms to car number 1. Another minus 20 kilograms to car number 65 as well. These donations will of course be applied in 50 minutes or so. So Balawenda is now past Nicholas Way. Up into P9, got 17 seconds to catch to Maleda in front. Maleda currently in battle with Davis though at the moment. Jumping back towards the rear of the grid, Yannick Golzelnik in P26 is looking for the position on P25 at the moment. 0.2 seconds exists between these guys. So the Aston Martin in front going slightly wide in the corner, slightly too close to the apex goes the number 21 of Yannick. Going to be front to back down this straight, a little bit of flashing from Yannick there as well. Applying the pressure to Kornilov in front. Both having a clean corner there. I don't know whether there'll be a dive into this corner, but potentially one down the inside from car number 21. There's a look down the inside from the McLaren. Aston Martin didn't need to defend too hard from that one. Has a better exit from the bus stop as well, so he's able to pull away a few tenths into the 31st lap. Maleda currently applying pressure to the number 69 of Davis in front. The Davis Mustang in front, of course, does have 20 kilograms of ballast now. You can see the ballast on your screens, the top right hand corner. There's been 20 kilograms of ballast that was applied to the top 5 cars before the pit stops, and then you can see that car number 965, car number 151 and car number 39 had minus 40 kilograms of ballast from their qualifying sessions. Blue flag getting in the way there and unfortunately causing a collision between these guys. So unfortunate to see. The blue flags have been so good this race, but Chris Davies has unfortunately now lost out as a result of that contact. We'll be looking to gain that time back though. Of course, it is 22 hours and 45 minutes left of this race. Plenty of time for positions to be remade. Up front, interestingly, Sergei Sotskov, who we're keeping our eye on, has now gained another 2 seconds, or another second at least, on P1. Taemin was the driver who took over from Max Hussle from the first hour. Max Hussle, of course, set a very fast lap time in qualifying and did a very fast stint in the first hour. Was able to get back past the number 1 car of Sotskov. But of course, Sotskov now gaining on Taemin. I think Sotskov is faster than Taemin. The last lap was a 2:18.6 for Taemin and a 2:18.2 for Sotskov. So 4 tenths was gained on the previous lap. We'll see if any is gained this lap. It's sticking around the 1.5 second gap area at the moment. We'll see if there is any adjustment. Now within a second of that P1 position, so Sotskov is certainly gaining time on Taemin throughout that middle section specifically. A little wide from that Mustang there, no major worries though. The Lexus is of course fast on the straights, but so is the Mustang. So it's a battle of straight line speed. I believe both of these cars, yep, they do both have 20 kilograms of ballast applied. They are slightly slower than their usual, but they have both an equal amount of ballast. Braking there into the bus stop section to finish off the 33rd lap of the race. That gap is now 0.5 seconds. We'll see on the lap time difference. The Mustang in front set a 2:19.1 that lap, and the POV Lexus set a 2:18.3, so about 8 tenths or so gained on that previous lap. You see how tight Sergei was to the inside of that corner as well. Damon just needs to keep it consistent until Max Hussle is back in the car. I think Max Hussle is certainly the fastest on that team. So Sergei Sotskov, of course, was the one that qualified for the number 1 team, and of course is doing the first hour as well, so of course has the speed advantage. I'm not sure on the speed of Sotskov's teammates. He's in a car with Dmitry Tkachenko, Ilya Ivanik, Stanislav Kartovic, and of course himself, so we'll be seeing what they can do. A very fast bunch of drivers these guys are, so we'll be seeing what comes as a result of this race. 22 hours 40 minutes left of the race though, and of course donation penalties, plenty more action to come, and plenty more position changes to be made. The Mustang going very wide there on the exit of that corner. The left-hander, you have to Try and keep it as smooth as possible. See, the distance covered matters in this one. Got 0.5 seconds between the Lexus and Mustang though, so potentially the Lexus making a few mistakes now that it is closer. Both cars sticking to the apex, better exit from that Mustang there. We'll be trying to keep it clean with no lifts through there as well, which is successful. Braking hard into the bus stop, a lot of distance gained to that Mustang. We'll see who gets the better exit. It's a tighter apex for Sergey. Mustang goes for the better exit. Seems like they're both equal on corner exit. Mustang trying to break that slipstream as well. Darts to the outside, sticks to the inside apex. It's a tighter apex for the Mustang. They get slightly unsteady on the corner exit though, so potentially advantage Sergey Sotskov on this one. You can see the effect of the slipstream now. Lexus gaining so much time on this corner. I don't think there'll be any position. Dive to the inside very late from Sergey Sotskov there, and of course contact made as a result. It's going to lose Sotskov a lot of time as a result, and potentially even a penalty or a warning for Sotskov. That was a very late dive there up the inside. Tamin now 6 seconds in front, had a little bit of damage from that. You can see on the right hand side of their car a few scratches and bumps, but nothing too major, and they'll be back to racing normally. You see Sotskov is now in P2. They're about 3 seconds in front of Negetsev, their teammate. I don't think there'll be any position battling for these guys. Of course, they are teammates, and of course, the number 1 car is much faster than the number 65, so we'll be seeing that gap widen. But of course, Tamin is now in advantage. Back at the start of this stint, they were 5 seconds. They are now still 5 seconds, so they'll be seeing what they can do. Back down towards the midfield then, Chris Davis in P8, number 69 Mustang was in P5 before the pit stops, has been demoted down into P8 after the pit stops, but is now looking to gain on P7. Maleda, the 274 Aston Martin, which has switched over from Nathan Smith Adams, is the battle that's going on at the moment. 0.4 seconds between Chris Davis and Maleda. Of course, if you want me to switch over to a specific car or you want to watch a specific driver, let me know in chat and I will do it. And of course, this race is a fundraiser for breast cancer now, so if you want to see some penalties being applied to whichever team or whichever driver, do head over to the pinned link, acm-racing.com/fundraiser, and you can donate some money to apply some cars some penalties or give them some ballast. Blue flag being very unsteady there, but both getting past. Okay, it'll be around the outside for Chris Davis, but it seems like that was fine. Both coming out of the final corner, across the line. It's still P7 Maleda, P8 Davis, PRT Mustang for this one. Looking strong, braking very late into that corner, almost making contact on the rear. Car number 340. Car number 340 is currently in E32, driven by Tim Schultz for Chaos Racing. I think they had an issue at the top of Eau Rouge not too long ago, so I think that's why they're in P32 at the moment. They've got 2 minutes and 14 seconds to gain to P31, so plenty of time to be gained. But of course, 22 hours, 36 minutes left of this race. Plenty of time to gain those positions, and of course with donation penalties, if you know, just do £5 donations to charity, you can of course give some penalties to the drivers in front, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this towards the end of the race. Number 77 just behind them in P35 at the moment, driven by JCNG for Accelerate United 77. At the moment, these guys are in P35. They're a few laps back from P34, P33, but they're keeping it consistent. And of course, 22 hours left of the race, plenty can happen. So we'll be seeing what they can achieve. Gleb Lukyanchev is in P33 at the moment. I apologise if I didn't get the name there correct. Have a sneaky look at P33. Yeah, that's P33 for you there, numbered by Gleb, number 163 Ferrari. They're currently 1 minute 38 seconds back from car number 340, so they've got plenty of time to gain, but plenty of time to gain it. My car is in P35, yeah, well, like I said, 23 hours left of the race, plenty of action to happen, and of course, if you've got some money that you want to donate to charity, you can gain some positions from that as well. I'm sure a drive-through or a stop-go penalty here and there for P30 to 35 will go nicely for car number 77. Oh, and just as I was watching, a little bit of a mistake there from car number 77, losing control, making contact with the barrier, having significant damage on the front of that car. You can see the bumper hanging off, but they'll be able to go to the pits and repair it. Hopefully it doesn't lose out too much, and as I say, plenty of time for positions to be gained back. Yep, going into the pit lane, they'll be repairing that car and resetting the stint time as well, making contact on the pit lane entry there as well. Very damaged McLaren, so hopefully the time isn't too long, but I have a feeling the repair time on that won't be nice. At the moment, got a few battles going on at the moment, up to 0.1 seconds back from the car number 606 at the moment. That's Togo Academy that's going through and getting that position, but they've gone wide and ended up cutting the corner as a result of that, so we'll be able to gain that position. But was close to getting the position there. Gozolnik is on the rear of Kornikov still as well, 0.3 seconds between those. P16 is on the rear of Spandenberg and Galamini, so there's a potential three-way battle going on between these. Have a look at P17. P17 driven by Kirby Fours at the moment for Igniter Motorsports, the number 33 BMW, having a strong race so far. They're about 20 seconds back from Kral at the moment. Galamini having a battle with Spangenberg at the moment. These guys battling down into Sector 2. Wide corner for Galamini there, braking early as well, just allowing that position to be gained. I think there's potentially some damage, yes there is, on the front of that Ferrari. So we'll be slowing them down slightly, but hopefully it's nothing too significant. Zach Webb in P5 currently has the fastest lap of the race with the 2:16.997. Zach Webb is the first driver of this race to set a 2:16 lap time. These guys do of course have minus 40 kilograms of ballast applied to them. So 0.2 seconds to Cataldo in front. You can see just how close these two Mustangs are. It's going to be a slipstream through the first sector. A little bit of lift in there from Zach Webb, trying to gain that space for Eau Rouge. Being in the slipstream is good for being in a straight line, but of course through the corners you do get a bit of dirty air, so you want to try and keep it a nice distance. Zach Webb looking to the inside now, potentially going to be a dive into sector 2, sorry. A dive down the inside, Cataldo goes wide, just allows that position to be made. That's a smart thing to do. Zach Webb also coming up from P34 on the field. That's 30 positions gained in this race so far. So Zach Webb having a very strong race and also gaining that position from Cataldo. Is now in the top 5 of this field, has 3 seconds to gain for Negetsev in front. Negetsev obviously 5 seconds back from Sotskov, and Sotskov, who we saw having the battle and the mistake earlier, now 1.7 seconds back from Tamin again. About half an hour, 40 minutes from the next stint timer end, so the next pit stops will go through in about half an hour, 40 minutes. I think we'll see another battle between Sotskov and Tamin before then, but we'll be seeing how exactly this pans out. There's fairly decent gaps there at the moment, and it seems like throughout the grid there are plenty of gaps between drivers. Upton is close again to Stemp, the number 606 BMW and P21. Very solid race from them so far. Fastest lap time of 2:19.6, which is faster than the cars around them. The only other car that's got a 2:19 fastest lap time in the 5 in front and back is in P24 at the moment. They set a 2:19.4, the number 21 Ferrari for BWE Professional. Got some support in chat for the number 151 car. I believe that's driven by Sampa Peltari. Yes, it is. Having a very strong race so far. Was having a bit of a battle with Davis not too long ago, but Davis has dropped back to about 10 seconds back now. Peltari 13 seconds from Cataldo in front, and of course Cataldo just been overtaken by Zach Webb. Zach Webb looking to gain that time on a gate save now. Zach Webb obviously has minus 40 kilograms of ballast. You can see on your screen the ballasts that have been applied, so we'll be looking to make the most of that. We'll see whether anyone donates any positive ballast to Zach Webb. I'm sure it will happen at some point, but they're making their way past the blue flags now. 2.7 seconds to Negetsev. We'll be seeing how much time is again. Jumping back up front, Sergei Sotskov now 1.6 seconds back from Tamin. So we saw Sotskov being able to gain 1 second a lap earlier on in this stint, but of course had the contact into the corner. The late dive attempt that they made last time meant that they were demoted back into a 5-second gap, but of course has pulled that back 1.6 seconds back from Tamin now at the moment. This race is of course hosted by ACM Racing. ACM Racing is a racing league dedicated to providing you the best service on Assetto Corsa Competizione. We race up to 6 times a week. We have an endurance race every weekend for 6 weeks straight, followed by 1 week break weekend, followed by another 6 weeks straight. They range from 4 hours to 24 hours, so there is plenty of action going on the grid and the calendar at the moment. If you want to check out the events that we have going on, acm-racing.com/events is where you want to go to, and there's a calendar on there as well showing all of the events that are upcoming. Next weekend we have 4 hours of Brands Hatch with plenty of drivers looking to race in that one. I believe there are about 63 or so teams signed up to that race, so it'll be a fun one to watch over. After that we've got 8 hours of Nordschleife, which again has plenty of drivers signed up to it. 8 hours of Nordschleife currently has 33 signed up with 2 weeks to go, so plenty of more time to come. And then after that, a break week, and then 6 more weeks of racing. 6 weeks from today, we have 12 hours of Imola, which is another fundraiser for the support of the air ambulance service this time. Another great cause. And of course, that is 12 hours of Imola, so a very fun race to take part in. Again, if you want to check out what races we have going on here at ACM Racing, just check out the calendar at acm-racing.com/calendar, and you will see plenty of battles, plenty of races, and plenty of action just like this today. More supporting chaps, Sampa Peltari, the B Motorsports BMW coming through a Rouge at the moment, 13 seconds back from Cataldo, cleanly 8 seconds in front of Davis, so plenty of time that they have spare, just keeping it clean and consistent at the moment. So what they need to do is settle into a rhythm for the rest of the race, and they will be safely in P6. Dive down the inside of that blue flag there. Blue flag just allowing them to go through nice and safely. Same with the McLaren on the outside, so Sampa Peltari not losing out on any time during that. The gap between Sotskov and Tamin has reduced once again. 1.1 seconds between these guys. Sotskov is looking to gain that time as much as they can. An amazing charity livery for the 151. Yeah, I apologise. I did sync the liveries just before, but I believe a few might not have synced correctly, or might not have been uploaded, or might even be bugged or something like that. I apologise. I did try and sync as best as I could, but for of course there are a few cars which are still carbon. Be good to see some photos, of course. Though there is the ACM Discord, which you can share all the images of the race in. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people sharing images from this race as well. I believe we have a few photographers in our community. Jumping back towards the rear end of the field, P22 for Joseph Stemp at the moment, 0.8 seconds back from Upton. Obviously that's the Toga Motorsports Aston Martin. I believe the Toga Motorsports Aston Martin has recently gained that position from Stemp, so I'm not sure whether Stemp will be able to gain that time back. 0.9 seconds separates these guys at the moment though, so we'll be seeing what happens there. We'll jump back aboard at P2 though, as there is now 0.5 seconds between these guys, so that gap is certainly diminishing. Dealing with the blue flags as well, moving across to the side and allowing these guys to get past safely. BMW just allowing Sotskov to get past there as well. Sotskov now 0.4 back. Obviously we saw these guys battling earlier on in the race. It's interesting to see that Sotskov can gain back that time on taming. Max Hussle, who was in for the first stint, was much faster than Sotskov, but of course swapping out teammates might not be the same speed, so Sotskov is making the most of that advantage that they've got. About 25 minutes until the next lot of donation penalties come in and come through. Of course, this race is in support of breast cancer now, a charity dedicated to supporting, giving the best treatment, services and care for people affected by breast cancer. That's not just the patients, that is also the families as well. So it's an excellent charity. They do a lot of good work. Of course, if you do want to donate to them and apply some penalties to some drivers, those penalties will start to come through in the next 25 minutes or so. The link to that is pinned in the Twitch chat, acm-racing.com/fundraiser, and of course the rules for donations are on there as well. It's a look to the outside for Sotskov at the moment. It's not going to be any move made on this one, as the Mustang effectively covers off the outside for that corner. Gets a better exit as well. So it is a straight line speed battle between the Lexus and the Mustang. Late on the brakes there for Sotskov, getting a wider apex and unfortunately going to be having a worse exit there as well, but we'll have a slight slipstream from that Mustang in front. Seeing what they can gain throughout this straight. Keep your ears open to the throttle inputs from Sotskov there as well. You can see just how tentative they are on the throttle. New fastest lap of the race, that is true. There was a fastest lap of a 2:16.997, which was set by Zach Webb. That was the same the previous time I saw it, but of course Zach Webb still setting some very fast lap times. Has just got past Negatesev as well, which I think is why it looked like there was a new fastest lap. Negatesev did unfortunately lose that position to Zach Webb, I believe, on that straight just about 45 or so seconds ago. I'll see if we can see it this corner. No, Zach Webb must have got that position very early on into the lap, or maybe even towards the end of the previous lap. But yep, that is Zach Webb up into P3 at the moment now. He's just climbing those positions consistently, finding himself in the top 3 now. Has 4.4 seconds to gain to catch these top 2. Is gaining that time quite fast as well, because obviously the battle between Sotskov and Tamin will cause these guys to lose a bit of time. Just keeping it as clean and consistent as they can be at the moment. Of course, every little mistake that is made loses a lot of time. When it comes down to the tenths of a second, every corner matters really. You can see the Mustang getting very unsteady on that corner there. The rear end losing a little bit as well. That'll mean that Sotskov has the run down into this semi-straight bit. Mustang has the inside, Lexus has the outside. We'll jump on board with Helicam. Lexus sticks back to the rear. We'll have a run down into this corner though. We'll see whether they go for any dives. A dive down the outside, both breaking at similar points. The Mustang running slightly wide. We'll cover off the apex for the next corner though. Lexus will have a much better exit of the bus stop, and it'll be side by side across the line to finish the 42nd lap of the race. A little bit of contact on the straight, a little bit of door banging and rubbing there, but it'll be a dive down the inside from Tamin to maintain that P1 position. It'll be a better corner from the Lexus though, getting sort of the wide line, getting a switchback on Sergei Sotskov. goes through and takes that position from Taemin. All the meanwhile, Zach Webb has gained a significant amount of time as a result of that battle there. 2.6 seconds he now has to Taemin in front, so Taemin is potentially losing another position to Zach Webb, and then Sotskov will be at risk of Zach Webb's advancements. You can see Taemin fighting back that position though in front. You can see going for a move up the inside, I believe, on that corner. Nothing too significant gained though. He'll be looking to the outside for the next corner, both braking at the similar points, both sticking to the apex as tight as they can. The Mustang all the way on the rear of that Lexus as they go around the hairpin into the fast left-hander, both touching the apex curb. Mustang taking a little bit more, getting a little bit unsteady on the exit of that corner, but nothing too major. Both cars will have the straight line run down into the fast left-hander. Both have to be very careful here to keep it both within track limits and to get a good exit of the corner. The Lexus you can see running a slightly wider line on the exit, but nothing lost time-wise. Again, both cars hugging to the apex of these chicanes. And a clean exit from both cars there. Sticking to the apex as tight as possible from Taemin. Getting the exit and looking to get as good as a line out of this corner as possible. A little bit unsteady on the rear through that corner. Potentially a setup issue, potentially due to the damage that Mustang carries. You can see on the right hand side of their car a little bit of damage exists. Zach Webb now less than 1 second between these guys, so we'll jump on board with the point of view of Zach Webb and see what he's seen. Taemin braking very late and diving up the inside there, having to run slightly wide on apex and getting a worse second chicane of that one. But you can see 0.7 seconds from Zach Webb now, so this is starting to be a three-person or a three-car battle for P1. And of course, Negatesev is not too far behind at all, only 1.7 seconds back from P3. So of course, could be a four-way battle between these guys potentially. Sotskov is of course though pulling away from Taemin. Taemin trying to cling on to that P1 position that his teammate Max Hussle left him in for this stint. The stint ends in 20 minutes, so we'll be seeing more pit stops coming through. I'm seeing more positions change as a result of that, obviously. Looks like the next sort of battle will be between Zach Webb and Taemin. We'll jump on board with Zach Webb. We'll see Taemin in front in the Mustang. Oh, 0.3 seconds is Zach Webb from Taemin. Taemin is at serious danger of getting P3 here. Zach Webb is applying that pressure. Gets a cleaner line through that corner. Of course, Zach Webb does have the 40 kilograms of ballast benefit. Means that they'll be a lot faster on the straights. It does mean that they'll be a little bit lighter on the corners though, so potentially have to take different lines and so on. It is now side by side between these two Mustangs. It is Zach Webb on the inside for this corner. Contact made. Zach Webb just not lifting at all. Came into the barrier slightly and losing out that position to P3 as well. It's unfortunate. It might potentially be a penalty or so for one of the cars there. Stewards of course will be looking into it and seeing what they can do about it. Zach Webb up into P2 at the moment, 1.8 seconds in front of Negatesev. We saw the battle between these guys earlier on, so I don't think they'll be Negatesev battling for that P2 position, but of course Zach Webb is now looking to gain on Sotskov. Very close battle up here at the top. 2 seconds P1, P2, 2 seconds P2, P3, 2 seconds P3, P4, and 4 seconds P4, P5. So the top 5 are in a very close collection. You can see on the track map on the right hand side, the triangle is the leader of this race, and car number 155 is P5. So they're all within sort of 2 corners of each other at the moment. Further back down the grid, Golzelnik is still having plenty of fun in P23, 0.7 seconds back from Damon at the moment. Better exit on the exit of that corner from Golzelnik, 0.2 seconds. We'll have the slipstream for this straight. Got a little bit of lag in there on the cars, and hopefully not a major issue. Car 77 just had a massive wipeout. Start of the Camel Straight. Car number 77 is driven by JCNG. We were on board with those earlier. There are about 9 laps back on P1. 2 minutes currently between them and P34, so plenty of time to be gained. There's a few laps in there actually as well, so plenty of time left for this race. I think JCNG still has plenty of time to get some action in. Of course, just finishing the 24-hour race is more than good enough. We'll jump back on board with Spangenberg, running 0.7 seconds back from Cervantes at the moment. Is the closest battle that we have on track at the moment. Zach Webb up front, still looking to gain what they can on Sotskov. I think it's probably equal pace between these two now at the moment though. On board with Spangenberg, number 338. They started the race in P7, they're in P13 at the moment, so they've had a few bumps and collisions which have dropped them some positions, but they're looking to gain a position back on Cervantes at the moment. 0.3 exists between these two. The number 76 Porsche in front, starting P15, is in P12 at the moment, so has gained 3 positions to start this race. Seems like there's been a bit of contact or something at the top of Rouge. Tim Schultz is on the pit lane exit line. There's plenty of tire marks on the ground there, so unfortunately seems like there's been some heavy contact with the barrier from Tim Schultz, but hopefully they can get back to racing and get back to the action. Jumping back on board with Spangenberg though, 0.2 to Cervantes in front. Cervantes has been in plenty of action this race so far. And of course they have gained 3 positions since the start of this race, but that one of those 3 positions is under pressure from Spangenberg at the moment. It's a look up the inside from Spangenberg. The Porsche sticks to the outside. BMW downshifting crazily, but sticking to that inside line. Both get about the same exit from the bus stop, and both now start the 47th lap of the race, heading towards the turn 1. The Porsche is very wide on that corner, allows car number 338 Spangenberg to gain a lot of time, but of course, go wide, you do have a lot more chance to gain speed. So of course the Porsche is faster as it stands, but the slipstream does go to car number 338, so it'll be equal throughout this section. The Porsche getting a faster Eau Rouge, but seems to be a little bit unsteady through there. Spangenberg, of course, trying to get that slipstream as much as they can. You can see them trying to weave and stick within those lines. He is gaining time on the Porsche, but nothing was able to be gained through that section. Runs slightly wide into that corner as well, so the Porsche is only going to gain more time as a result of that. I'll keep my eye on P1, P2 battle as well. It's now down to 1.6, 1.7 seconds between Sotskov and Webb. As we know, Webb has the fastest lap of the race with the 2:16.997. The next lot of donation penalties will come through in the next 10 minutes. Of course, the donation penalties which are outstanding to be applied at the moment, got minus 20 kilograms to car number 1, got minus 20 kilograms to car number 65, and 80 kilograms added to car number 965. So of course number 965, that is the Zach Webb Mustang. They are on minus 40 kilograms at the moment, so plus 80 leaves them on plus 40, so plenty of ballast to be added to them. No position change this lap. Looks to the outside of the Porsche, switches back to the inside, but isn't able to have enough space there. Makes slight contact on the rear of the Porsche, nothing too major, no worries there though. There'll be a battle of latest on the brakes. It was almost a BMW into the side of the Porsche there, but Spangenberg able to make that corner carefully. Up front, Cataldo is now within a second of Tamin, so Tamin is at danger of losing another position in that Mustang. 1.1 second between these two, and 5.6 seconds to P3 in front, so potentially a battle brewing between these guys. Zach Webb still 1.7 seconds back from Sotskov, so nothing too major there. We're back on board with Spangenberg. This battle was heating up. A few positions, or a few attempts made for that position, but nothing too major so far. Spangenberg 0.5 seconds, braking very late again into that corner. I have a feeling one of these days it'll be braking too late and contacts made, but hopefully not. Hopefully it's kept clean. Screwing around the corner, down in towards the left-hander. Porsche very wide on the exit of that one. I'll give the advantage to the BMW that we're on board with. You can see just how much distance they covered and gained because of that. All over the rear of that Porsche, no move can be made into that corner though. It'll be a drag race throughout and towards the bus stop as they enter the third sector of this lap. BMW goes slightly wide, but no major worries between these guys. Got some support for Webb in the chat. Webb currently 1 second back from P1. I'll keep my eye on things there because I have a feeling that Webb will be looking to gain as much as they can. Spangenberg very late on the brakes again, nearly running into the rear of that Porsche. I'm clenching my feet every single time one of these braking zones comes round. No contact so far though, hopefully it maintains that way. Up front as well, want to keep our eye on Cataldo and Tamin. As I mentioned, Tamin at risk of losing another position, Cataldo at risk of gaining one, or not at risk, but at benefit of gaining one. 0.6 seconds between these guys. It is Mustang versus Mustang. On board with Daniel Cataldo, they started the race and are still going. Potentially going to be swapping out to another driver in this next pit stop, the next 10 minutes or so. We'll be seeing what they do, but at the moment they're on the rear of Tamin, number 444 Mustang in front. Slight lift from Cataldo to get that clean corner. And braking into the bus stop now. Cataldo taking a wider entry line, hitting the sausage curb slightly, getting a good apex for the second part of that chicane, getting a good exit as well. Seems like the position is getting close between the number 76 Porsche and Spangenberg's. Number 76 Porsche is looking to fight it back though. Up the inside, it's side by side, runs wider, does the BMW. The Porsche has the inside line for the next corner. It's a drag race down to the left-hander. The BMW brakes later. Porsche's on the inside, has the advantage of the apex. We'll jump on board with the BMW, see if they make any move into this corner. I've got to keep my eye on things. There's a few battles happening at once. It's a look to the inside. It's a potential dive down the inside, but nothing too major. Porsche goes wide, letting off the brakes slightly. Both are clean on the apex for the next corner. Porsche gets unsteady on the exit there, has to make an adjustment. We'll have the inside line for the next corner though. Sticks to the inside, leaves space on the outside. The BMW will have the outside line once again, potentially getting a better exit though. Touches the grass, that'll leave them worse off. So unfortunately, that position is still not gained for Spangenberg. It's a very interesting battle between these guys though, and I'm trying to keep my eye on the gaps as there's sort of 2 or 3 battles happening at once. Of course, pit stops come in the next sort of 10-20 minutes, so we'll be seeing these guys heading to the pit lane and swapping tyres, swapping drivers potentially, and adding on a lot more fuel. Of course, one option for these drivers is of course the undercut. You can pit earlier if you believe you can gain the time in the fresh air. It's something that people should think about. Obviously there's a 65-minute stint timer, no other restrictions on pit stops, so these guys will be able to potentially cut out a stint during the 24 hours by maximising that stint timer. So the undercut has its advantages and disadvantages to the individual drivers and teams to make that call, of course. I'm just suggesting what is potentially possible, but Spangenberg is certainly all over the rear of that Porsche. Has been looking to gain that place for the last sort of 10 laps or so. Is now having the slipstream. The Porsche emerges out, reveals a blue flag that's on the inside. It's going to be side by side into the corner. Sorry about the camera there. The BMW has the inside. The Porsche gets unsteady on the outside, loses time to that BMW. It's going to be the inside line for the BMW, outside line for the Porsche. Seems like the outside line was advantageous to the Porsche there, and unfortunately again the BMW is just not able to gain that position. An excellent battle though, and that battle between Tamin and Cataldo has now come to a close as well, with Cataldo making that position gain on Tamin. Tamin now down in P5. And Zach Webb is 0.5 seconds back from Sotskov as well. I'll keep my eye on all 4 of these battles, because Ballawender is right on the rear of Maleda as well. Tamin now looking to gain back that position on Cataldo. Tamin around the outside for this corner. Keeps it clear on the outside, rather the inside for the next part of this chicane, rather the outside for the next corner. But as we saw, the Porsche make advantage of the outside line. Seems like it'll be fairly equal between the 2 Mustangs on this one. Potentially an advantage to the outside line once again. It's going to be the outside line for the Mustang on this one though. A little bit of contact and door banging on the hairpin. That leaves the Mustang of Tamin to be ran wide. Cataldo gaining that position as a result and defending it, allowing him to stay in P4. Spangenberg, look how close those 2 are. literally bumper to bumper on front and rear, but we'll jump on board with Zach Webb. This is the battle for P1 in the second hour of this 24-hour race. It is Zach Webb looking to gain on the Lexus of Sotskov. Of course, Zach Webb has minus 40 kilograms of ballast. Sotskov has plus 20 kilograms of ballast. The next lot of donation penalties come in the next 10 minutes. It's side by side at the moment. Zach Webb goes through, makes the move up the inside, and that is up into P1 for Zach Webb. P34 they started in, so 33 positions have been gained. P1 they are currently sat in, but it's looking like next time they will be given 80 kilograms of ballast to start their stint. So that minus 40 is nullified, and then another 40 is added on, meaning they have 40 kilograms added on to their car, and an additional 20 compared to the Lexus, so we'll potentially see that battle re-emerging soon enough. No position change between Spangenberg and Zvantis at the moment. Still 0.4 seconds between those guys though. Tamin has unfortunately dropped off from Cataldo now as well, 1.2 seconds between these two Mustangs. So Tamin dropping down from that P1 position into P5. The Stint 1 driver, Max Hussle, very fast driver in the Mustang, of course, set the qualifying lap time fastest, about 3/10 faster than anyone else on track, and then did the first hour, managed to claw their way into P1 by about 5 seconds. Had the advantage of the pit stop over Sotskov, and of course now Sotskov is looking to gain back that P1 that they held for the majority of their second stint, which was taken away again by Zach Webb. Spangenberg still on the rear of this Porsche. It's going to be coming into the pit stops very shortly. There's about 8 minutes or so left of the stint time. It's looking to the outside on this corner now though from the BMW. Having to make an adjustment to not run to the rear of the Porsche so that I lose time slightly. They're potentially looking for a dive into this corner as well. Looks to the inside, no dive made, but they'll have the clean line through the bus stop, and they do. They go for the undercut. They get the pit stop first, and they go for that position gain through the pit stop. So that battle for now has been nullified. We'll see where they exit the pit lane and how that affects the battle. Balavenda 0.5 seconds back from Maleda. Blue flag rejoining the circuit there, hopefully gives way to the Lexus that we're on board with. Yep, that goes well. Maleda is the 274 Baller Squad Racing Aston Martin, swapped over from Smith Adams in the first hour of this race, and is now sat in P8. We'll be doing their pit stop soon as well. Chris Davis in the CRT Mustang, of course, another driver who started in the top 5, starting in P4, currently in P7, so lost out to a few of the faster drivers like Zach Webb coming through, but is now only 0.4 seconds back from Peltari. Peltari under pressure from this Mustang towards the end of this stint. We'll be seeing what they can do and whether anyone goes for the pit stop. It was no pit stop between these two for this lap. For an update on Spangenberg, Spangenberg is coming out of the pit lane now. They're currently in P17. Or I take that back, they're stopping to do their pit stop now. This part pit lane is so long, it's hard to keep track of how long they've been in the pit lane. We'll jump back on board with Davis though. Of course, Davis looking to gain that P6 position off of Peltari. Keeping it tight up Eau Rouge. Having so much speed on that BMW. Having the slipstream down this straight as well now in towards sector 2. I don't think it's close enough for a dive, but he's looking up the inside, putting a bit of pressure on Peltari for this position. Gets a clean apex, gets a clean second apex, and we'll have a nice line for the third corner. Run down now to the hairpin. Both braking at a similar point, both sticking to the inside apex of this corner. BMW getting a better exit, being able to stick tighter to that line. Both cars just briefly touching the apex of that corner, both running towards the end of that curb. Maleda just behind, still having a battle with Balavenda. Balavenda obviously made that position gain the previous lap, but Maleda is looking to gain it back. Further back down the grid, Peter Gusev going to be gaining the position on that Ferrari there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on on that corner, but position was gained as a result of what happened there. And there's about a lap's difference between Gusev and Fisher in P25, so nothing too major between these guys. Meng was one of the ones caught up in that confluence at the start of Sector 2, and has now lost the position to Darman as well. Darman goes past, takes the inside line up the corner. BMW takes the tighter line, potentially having a better line through this corner, runs into the rear of P13 and just doesn't avoid further contact. It'll be a penalty for car number 74 there, which is unfortunate to see, but of course if you do cause contact you will get a penalty. That's just how racing works, so it's unfortunate to see there, but of course towards the rear of the grid it is more likely to see. Sotskov still on the rear of Webb. Webb, I believe, now has 40 kilograms of ballast. Yes, they do. So they have been given that 80 kilograms of ballast that was applied during this hour's donation penalties, so they will be a lot slower than they were previously. Sergei Skotskov is looking to make the most of this and is going to P1 successfully. All on the rear of that Mustang. Of course, Sotskov is on no ballast at the moment, but I believe they should potentially be on... Oh, no, that's right, they're on no ballast at the moment. They had minus 20 kilograms on donated in that previous hour, so that's all good for them. They have 40 kilograms advantage over Webb, meaning that Webb now has this 40 kilograms of ballast for the next hour. This is the fun of donation penalties. Of course, all proceeds go towards Breast Cancer Now, a fantastic charity aiming to support people with treatment services and care for those affected by breast cancer. Not just the people who are directly affected by breast cancer, also their families as well. So they are an excellent charity, an excellent cause to donate to. So please do check them out if you wish to donate. The link is acm-racing.com/fundraiser. Sotskov makes that dive up the inside, has that position gain on Zach Webb. Zach Webb now filters back towards the rear wing of that Lexus. Of course, we'll have the 40 kilograms of ballast to deal with for this straight. They both go through a Rouge. Both have a fairly similar exit speed. Going to be a slipstream for Webb. Nothing that he can gain though, that ballast will significantly affect his straight line speed, so we'll be seeing how that plays on throughout the race. Sergei Sotskov still in P1 now though. An excellent race from this team so far. They'll have to be doing a pit stop this lap. Their stint timer is currently on 1 hour and 3 minutes. Zach Webb can still do another lap, they're on 1 hour exactly. But P3 and P4 will also have to do a pit stop this lap, so we'll be seeing positions potentially shaken up a bit due to these pit stops, but we'll keep our eye across the grid to see what happens exactly. Zach Webb 0.7 seconds back from Sotskov now, so he's certainly dropping back time due to that ballast. But as I said, we'll be having to come into the pit lane during these next few laps. Sotskov will have to come into this lap. Zach Webb can potentially do one more lap. Running that stint timer right until the end. It's currently on 1 hour, 4 minutes and 30 seconds for Sotskov. They're diving into the pit lane now though, and as soon as they hit that pit lane entry line, they are safe on the stint timer. So braking about now, keeping it 50 over that white line. and keeping it safe as they enter the pit lane and the stint timer pauses. So Sotskov potentially switching over to another driver, but we'll be certainly swapping out those tyres, getting on some more fuel for another hour of racing. Zach Webb out on another lap, probably one of the few cars that is left. You can see on the track map on the right hand side, majority of cars diving into the pit lane now. Majority of the cars for these first few hours will be on the same stint timers, but a few cars like Zach Webb, for example, will be able to do different stint timers. The car that Zach Webb is approaching at the moment is Max Hustle, which has returned to the seat of the number 444. Of course, Max Hustle was the one that was leading the first hour. Max Hustle very strong in that Mustang, running wide on that corner though, unfortunately. Just getting used to the car again. Hopefully there's no damage on that thing. Hopefully they repaired it all. We'll see in a second. Yep, that damage has been repaired. There was a bit of damage on the right hand side of that Mustang before the pit stop, but Max Hustle will be able to get back in the car and just blitz this stint like he did previously. Hopefully gain back those positions. The gap up front between the top 5 was relatively close. It was about 5 seconds between them all. So of course that time is possible to be gained. Zach Webb will go on board with, as they are the ones that will be going into the pit lane next. An excellent stint from Zach Webb, obviously doing the first 2 hours of this race and the qualifying. I believe they had 40 kilograms for the majority of that, so have had a slight advantage due to the donation penalties, but of course has now been hit with 80 kilograms of ballast, and I believe they are switching over teams or teammates during this pit stop as well, so we'll be seeing this position change a little bit. Diving into the pit lane now, Zach Webb goes in, be changing tyres, getting fuel and swapping drivers. As I said, got a break before that line on the floor, not pick up any additional penalties. Zach Webb did that perfectly, so no danger of any penalties there. Chris Davies, number 69, will also be coming into the pit lane at this lap as well. They're on 1 hour and 4 minutes 20 seconds at the moment, so they'll be running it right to the edge of the stint timer as well. No issue on the final corner though, so we'll be diving into the pit lane and again keeping it slow for that pit lane entry line and making their pit stop. Maleda also going to be coming into the pit lane, potentially swapping drivers. Obviously we saw Nathan Smith-Adams in the first hour for Baller Squad Racing's Aston Martin, and is now Michael Maleda, which has been in this hour, is into the pit lane now, braking way before that white line, keeping it clean and getting ready to do the pit stop. So Ivanik is now in the car, the number 1 VDES Portal affiliate Ivanik, and we'll be looking to gain on the 965 and the 444. Obviously the 444 driven now by Max Hustle. We'll be looking to gain back those positions which were lost. They have about 5 seconds to Robu, who's now driven the 23 Lexus. That was originally driven by, I believe, Balawenda. Yep, that's correct. And is now in P7. So Max Hustle in P8 at the moment, battling for P7. We'll be looking to gain that time. 17 seconds exists between P6 and P7. There's a lot of time for Max Hustle to gain, but I have no doubt that he will be able to do it during this section. Sachin Darkness now in the car for the number 965 Mustang, sorry. We're seeing what Sachin can do this stint. Obviously has 40 kilograms of ballast, so slightly at a worse position. The Ivanik makes that position gain on Sachin Darkness though. You can see the Mustang just behind leaving the pit lane. Negate Save coming up Rouge, looking to gain on Sachin as well. The 2 VDES Lexuses are up front and strong. The Ivanik leading off the number 1 car, number 65 car driven by Negate Sev as well. And the only threat that they have is Luca Buttol, number 155 Mustang, has gotten back in. They're about 14 seconds back from the top 2 or 3 at the moment, so we'll be seeing what is possible. Maleda comes out of the pit lane, has swapped to Emre Burak Solmez for Baller Squad Racing, so they are now driven in P7, 1.5 seconds back from Robu in the ML3 Lexus Racing. Gaps have certainly started to spread out a bit now. We'll keep on board with Somres, who's looking to gain that position P6 on Robu, the Lexus just in front. The Ferrari that you can see on your screens in front of the POV car is a blue flag. See the blue flag's being waved on the left hand side. But the Lexus in front of that Ferrari is the one that is fighting for position. Dremnik back in the car. That's the number 3 McLaren. 0.8 seconds back from Zimmerman at the moment, who is in the Over Limit Racing Audi. You see the Audi just in front. It's a battle for P10 at the moment. Chemnik is looking to gain that position. Martinez in the pit lane at the moment, the last to do this stint pit stop this time. Martinez in P20 at the moment has been stopped for about 28 seconds. Will be setting off to go soon. Car gets settled down. No engine start though, which is interesting. We'll see what happens with them. Touching Darkness just lost that position to Daniil Nagetsev. Nagetsev now down in P2. It's a VDES portal battle at the top now. Max Hussle fighting with both a blue flag and the Aston Martin of Emre Burak Solmez. Position has been gained nicely though. Max Hussle looking to gain as much time as he can. 3.9 seconds, 4 seconds to Robu in front. We thought that Solmez was going for Robu, but unfortunately Max Hussle caught too fast, and of course is now the one that is chasing after Robu. What's wrong with the Audi number 2? The Audi number 2 is in the pit lane. They haven't set any laps so far, so I'll be interested to see what they are doing. Potentially in as an engineer, they might be warned later on in this race if they're staying to keep the server healthy. They'll be asked to leave. No driving from the number 2 Audi at the moment. Can car number 98 get a little airtime? Of course, car number 98 is currently in P21, driven by Fabian Fischer for Brighton Shows Racing. Very good race for Fischer at the moment, starting in P27, up in P21 at the moment, so 6 positions gained since the start of this race. That blue Ferrari is looking spectacular. I apologise if it's not the complete livery. I did think before this race, but some liveries may not have been uploaded or might have an issue. But Fischer is the only car gaining positions in a sea of cars that have lost positions, so a very successful race for the number 98 Ferrari so far. Is indeed looking lovely. Of course, the key position gainers for this race is the number 965 car of Sachin Darkness. Starting in P34, Zach Webb drove their way up into P3. P1 before the pit stop, now sat in P3. Sachin Darkness is now trying to hold off from the drivers behind. There's about a 10-second gap between Darkness and Butol in P4, so hopefully there should be enough time for Darkness to gain to keep that position and keep it consistent. Another one of notice is Octavian Robu, who we've mentioned a few times in the past 5 minutes. The number 23 Lexus started in P35, currently in 6. So they've gained 29 positions since the start of this race, and they also have the fastest time through the speed trap at 279 kilometers an hour. I'm not sure entirely where the speed trap is here at Spa, but the data does show that Robu has the fastest speed trap time. It's 279 kilometers an hour, matched with Max Hustle behind. So Max Hustle, 279 kilometers an hour as well, and of course is in the Mustang. Other key position gainers, we have Kevin Akiri, the number 45 Toga Racing, Toga Academy, Aston Martin, 12 positions gained since the start of this race, starting P29, is in P17 at the moment. And then, of course, Fabian Fischer, the number 98 Ferrari, who we're on board with. 6 positions gained since the start of this race. So, again, plenty of action. Biggest losers of positions so far in this race, we have Sam Zavisa in the number 52 Ferrari. Number 52 Ferrari starting in P17 is currently in P32, just gained a position due to someone doing a pit stop. So they've lost 15 positions since the start of this race. Same with Nikita Gusev, they started in P11, now down in P26. They've lost 15 positions in this race. But as I said, still plenty of time, 21 hours, 40 minutes left of this race. Plenty of action to come. Can I show car number 340? Of course, car number 340 is in P34 at the moment, driven by Marcel Hafenrichter. I apologise again if I mispronounce that name, I will do my best. The number 340 Ferrari for Chaos Racing, we've been on board with a few times. They've had a few incidents and a few spins throughout this race, which is why they're currently in P34 at the moment. But of course, 21 hours, 40 minutes left of the race, plenty of time for them to gain back. They're starting in P28, currently in P34. They're about a lap or two back from 33, so they are trying to get as much as they can. P33, of course, currently in the pit lane, number 163, currently stopped to do their pit stops, so of course we'll be gaining time like nobody's business, but of course pit stops are down to the car, and will most likely show the effect towards the end of the race. Of course, the difference in stint timers and the difference in what strategies people choose to go with, they will only see the effect of these positions changing due to the pit stops towards the end. Of course, with a 65-minute stint time, you can extend it to a full 65 minutes and miss out a few 5 minutes a few times, but of course that is up to the drivers, and you do run the risk of getting a drive-through should you run into any issues with the stint timer. Zach Webb is in the chat. Not sure how I went from last to first. Apparently Sachin is scared. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You did a very good job in that first and second stint, getting themselves up into position number 1, and of course dropping a few positions after the pit stop. Sachin has a lot to live up to in that Mustang, but of course hopefully he has been set up well in the Mustang and has had plenty of time to get some training in. Is going to be defending from Luca Butol very soon. Luca Butol is currently 2 seconds back from Sachin, but we'll be looking to gain as much as he can. Max Hustle on to his next target, 0.6 seconds back from Robu at the moment. That's the Lexus in front. You can see just how much time that Mustang is gaining down the straight. A bit of a flash of the lights as well. Pull into the inside. Going to be late on the brakes for Max Hustle. Just after the curb, sticking to the apex of the corner, and that is a position gain long before the corner even exists. So very nicely done overtake there from Max Hustle, and no harm done. Luca Button now 0.7 seconds back from Sachin Darkness. As I said, Sachin Darkness has a lot to live up to for the stint from Zach Webb, and of course Luca Button is a very fast driver, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. gap is coming ever closer. You can see that the Mustangs are now in line with each other. Worse exit from the number 965 now, potentially struggling with the ballast here as well. Switching to the outside line for this section of corner, it's going to be difficult to go side by side. Luca Bussol just dips back, probably the smart decision for this battle, looking to make a dive into the corner potentially instead. Looks to the inside. It'll be similar braking points for both Mustangs, both making the apex and both having very good exits. Very wide turn one for Sachin Darkness though, allowing Luca Bussol to go through unscathed. Going to be a drag race down into Eau Rouge. I have a feeling that the Mustang of Sachin will slip in behind the other Mustang, and yep, that was what happened. Bit of time lost there through Eau Rouge as well, so Sachin dropping back slightly. Chris Davis is the next one for him to worry about. Chris Davis 2.4 seconds back from Darkness at the moment. Breaking late into the corner, you can see the Mustang a few cars in front. Bit of train of cars through these corners here. Chris Davis looking to get past as clean as he can. "21 hours and 34 minutes left of this race. Is 24 hours of Spa, and is of course fundraising for the charity Breast Cancer Now. It's a charity which supports people affected by breast cancer, so offers them the best treatment services and care. It's a very good cause, and all donates and proceeds from this race go directly to them. So of course, if you do have a spare pound or so, please donate it. Of course, it is a good cause, and of course, you can give cars penalties as a result of your donations. Penalties and ballast are available. You can see on our screens that a few cars have positive ballast, a few cars have negative ballast, and of course, that will affect what they can do in this race. There's a bit of an issue with blue flags there. One of the cars goes slowly, a car having to take to the outside of the track, but fortunately, all is okay. 2.5 seconds still remains between Darkness and Davis at the moment. See a few blue flags between those guys as well. There's been a contact into the first corner there. And Stuart's going to be reviewing that. On the 964, I believe, is still spun. Yep, but it's getting going now though. That was Gamer Extreme that was involved. Chimera Racing 964 McLaren. Gamer Extreme had an up and down race so far, starting in P12, down in P26 at the moment. It was dropped back since the start, but I believe they had a stop and go 30-second penalty for something. Of course, those are where the positions have gone. If you're looking for fundraising information, go to acm-racing.com/fundraiser, and you can view all of the penalties that you can give, and you can view all the penalties that have been given so far. Of course, all proceeds do go to Breast Cancer Now, the research and support charity, so it's a very good cause for it to go to. Back on with the action, Fabian Fischer, 0.7 seconds back from Markkinen at the moment. Markkinen, number 727 Porsche in front, P21. Battle for P21 in this race. and this is one of the closest battles. Another closest battle is Chris Davies, who has now finally caught up to Sachin Darkness, and will be looking to make a move into this corner. Looks to the inside, late on the brakes, and be coming along and level with the Mustang. A little bit too wide on the first part of that corner. Contact was caused, but nothing too major. Be fine. Max Hustle is now the next one to get past Sachin Darkness. Sachin Darkness is dropping those positions, but of course can't level what Zach Webb was able to do that first. Aaron, of course, is battling with negative 40 kilograms of ballast as well, so plenty for Sachin to deal with, and plenty for him to keep his eye on. Very good going so far, though. It's difficult to keep it level with these guys. Going across a rouge there as well. Max Hustle will have the speed advantage down the straight in towards sector 2. Sachin defends. Nothing much you can do on the straight though, and it is passed long before even the braking zone for this corner. Quite harshly moving in front of the other Mustang there. Sachin looks to the inside to gain a position, but Max Hustle is passed and is now clear to set off. 1.2 seconds that he needs to gain to Chris Davis in front, and then it will be another 5 seconds to Luca Butol in front of that. Max Hustle certainly on the charge to gain back those positions, and certainly looking to do as much as he can. Sonmez, the next one is to get past Sachin Darkness. 274 Border Squad Racing Aston Martin. Closing in on the rear of that Mustang. Having to go slightly tentatively there on the exit of that corner due to the Mustang's line. I think it'll likely be a dive into the corner for this one though. Late on the brakes for Sonmez. Sachin defends, runs wide. The switchback is gone by Sonmez. Contact's made on the second part of that corner as well. Nothing too major, but Sonmez is now up into P6. Sachin Darkness drops into P7 and will be chased after by Octavian Robu next. Ivanik and Negatsev up in P1 and P2 are clear of everyone else. These guys 11 seconds between each other and then 33 seconds in front of Luca Butol in P3, so certainly plenty of time available for these guys. And of course the two BDES Portal Lexuses are doing very well in their performances. Max Hustle looking for his next position gain, 1.1 seconds back from Chris Davis at the moment. Chris Davis, who we saw going past Darkness a few laps prior, will be having to defend this position. That unfortunately looks like Luca Butol, who has spun out on the corner there. Rejoining the circuit now though, but has unfortunately lost 3 or 4 positions from their position in P3. This means that Kim Max Hustle has one less to gain on. Now 0.5 seconds between Max Hustle and Davis. Flashing Darkness is also now under pressure from Robu. Max Max Hussle braking much later than Chris Davis into that corner, getting a better line through the bus stop as well. Clean exit from both by equal. Max Hussle will be trying to get the slipstream down after this first turn. Wider apex for Max Hussle. No time lost though. Here's a drag race down towards Eau Rouge. The variety of lines through Eau Rouge there. Max Hussle taking much more of the inside of that corner. Emerging to the inside. And makes his way past Chris Davis long before the braking point for that corner. So that is Max Hussle. Oof. Almost into the side of that blue flag there as well. But getting back onto the track nice and clean. Darkness being overtaken by Robu at the moment now as well. Getting a little bit of contact there with blue flags, trying to pass two cars at once. Fortunately, contact was caused. Sachin has therefore kept his position, but of course will be under pressure shortly from Robu as well. And of course the stewards will be looking at that incident to see if there is anything addressed. Chris Davis making his way past those blue flags as well. Now of course lost out to Max Hussle. But has about 1.2 seconds gap between those two. Max Hussle has 38 seconds to gain to catch up to Negative, and then another 10 seconds to Ivanik in front of that, so has a lot to gain now, but hopefully after this blue flag in front should have a clean gap to run their own performance. The next lot of pit stops will come in about half an hour to 40 minutes, so we'll be seeing some more changes throughout then as well. Number 275 in front, I believe, is the All Squad Racing Aston Martin that is driven by Chef Bauer at the moment. It's like that position has been seeded appropriately. Max Hussle is free to race as he pleases for the next few laps. There's a car coming out of the pit lane now though, that might potentially be caught up in another blue flag situation, but seems to just get past that blue flag nice and safely. But yeah, has a lot of gap in front to allow them to race to their full extent and the best chance of more overtakes. Octavian Robu now looking for that position gain on Darkness. 0.2 seconds between these two at the top of Eau Rouge. As they come through, it'll be a slipstream for Robu. We saw this on the previous lap, but of course there was a blue flag which they both tried to overtake at the same time, which caused a contact. It is certainly side by side through there, barely any room between the two cars, breaking down into sector 2. Seems that position gain was clean enough. Robu is now up into P7, Sachi Darkness down in P8. The next one that you have to worry about is Dan Giacobi, number 151 BMW. About 11 seconds gap between those, so I don't think there'll be any battle for a while. Number 275 Aston Martin, who we saw just a lap earlier, has made his way past number 48 Porsche, that's driven by Tranicek Rizicki. That is P15 for the Ball Squad Racing Aston Martin. Of course, teammates with Somnes, who's currently in P5. Zimmerman is now looking for a position as well. These guys have been running confidently in P10 for the majority of this race. We're about 2.5 hours into this race so far now. 0.6 seconds exists between Zimmerman and Giacobi. Any solo drivers in this race? We did have a solo driver originally in this race. Unfortunately, they did leave. I'm just checking if there are any others. There are a few others who are racing with us. I'll go through them in a second. Chemerinik is a solo driver for this race, so he's attempting to do the full race by himself. That's the number 3 McLaren. Breaking into the bus stop at the moment. Another solo driver that we have for this race is Damon. Damon, the Ziggo Sport Tempesta Ferrari. Number 93 car is doing brilliantly, going for a solo attempt at this race as well, and is followed by Eduard Galimov, who is also doing a solo attempt. So it's a battle of the solo drivers at the moment, P25 and P26 for those two respectively. We'll be seeing what they can do, and I believe that is all of the solo drivers that we have for this race. There's currently 36 cars on grid plus 2 in the pit lane, so we'll be seeing where they end up towards the end of this race. Position changes for Jacoby and Sachin Darkness. I believe Zimmerman is also trying to get involved in this as well. Zimmerman trying to go up the inside of Jacoby now at the moment. Made that move cleanly. The position has been gained into P9 for Zimmerman. Zimmerman now looking to get past Darkness as well. Darkness a bit of damage on the side of that Mustang, so potentially had a spin and had contact. Looking to defend from both Zimmerman and Jacoby now at the moment. 0.2 seconds exists between these. Of course, number 965 Mustang in front, driven by Sachin Darkness, does have 40 kilograms of donated ballast applied to it. It had 40 kilograms taken off of it for the first 2 hours of the race, so an additional 80 kilograms was added, taking away the minus 40 and giving an additional 40 to that team. Potentially an internet issue with one of those cars there. Hopefully all is resolved okay. Ilya Ivanik, who is MP1 at the moment, is gaining time on the teammate Negetsev in P2. 12 seconds currently exists between those two. It was previously 11 seconds, so potentially a mistake from Negetsev, or just some good laps from Ivanik. Either way, Max Ussel is slowly gaining time on them. There's still 38 seconds to be gained between those two pairs. But of course, I have no doubt that Kim Max Ussel has that pace in him. There's plenty of battle-ins during the first stint. Grebnik, one of the solo drivers for this race, is now on the rear of Sachin Darkness, looking to gain that time. To gain that place as well. Keeping it clean through the start of sector 2. Bit of a flash as he looks to the inside as well. No position move at the moment. More pressure applied to the inside on the exit of that corner. A little late on the brakes for the next one, but no time lost. Drag race down into the fast left-hander. Sachin Darkness goes very wide on that corner and has to cede that position now to Platon Cheremenk. Cheremenk defending that position he's just gained. And that is P10 for Cheremenk. Another battle that's brewing. Felix Zimmerman, 0.6 seconds back from Jacoby at the moment. Felix Zimmerman, very equal race for him so far, starting in P10, currently in P9. one position gained so far, and he's now looking for a second position as well. Jacoby started in P6, is now in P8, so has lost out on 2 positions and is potentially going to be losing out on a third here, but nevertheless is still a consistent race for both cars. Someone that put in chat 40 kilo reduction to car 12. I don't believe there's been 40 kilos taken off of car 12 that was donated. If there was, please get in contact on our Discord and we can sort it out, but at the moment I'm not seeing anything on my side of things. We saw the position gain there, Jacoby and Zimmerman. Zimmerman gained that position on Jacoby. Jacoby just trying to keep it consistent now, keep it in P9. Zimmerman up in P8, 17 seconds back from P7. So be consistent in that position for quite a while now. Stint timers, they're all on about 33 minutes into their stint timers at the moment, so about half an hour until the next lot of pit stops. Max Hussle, of course, has 38 seconds still to gain on P1 and P2, but we'll be looking to gain that as much as they can. P1 currently has a bit of clean air and has been running very fast in the Lexus P2 from the same team. Sev been running very fast in that Lexus as well. Has lost another second to his teammate, but is only 13 seconds back, so nothing too significant, and of course has the clean air now as well. Davis is still looking to get back on Max Hussle, but obviously Max Hussle, very fast driver. Not sure there'll be any position changes between these two. There's about 5 seconds between them. Sonmez is about 1.5 seconds back from Chris Davis as well. Luca Butol, 15 seconds back on those. We saw Luca Butol have a spin a few laps ago, so he's dropped back from the P3 position they were originally in, but of course 21 hours 15 minutes left of the race, plenty of time for things to happen. So I'm sure plenty of things will still happen. P7, Octavian Robu, 4.5 seconds back from Butol. See the blue Mustang just going around the corner up front. Gaps have certainly started to spread out now. The closest one that we've got on track is this Giancobi and Zimmerman. Obviously we saw Zimmerman taking that P8 position a few laps ago. Giancobi fighting to stay close to it, but that gap is widening. A bit of a wide entry to that corner from Dan as well. Nothing too major. Sonmez is the one that we need to keep our eye on though. 1 second to Chris Davis at the moment. 0.2. Chris Davis, of course, number 69, has been driving since the start of this race, so we'll be potentially swapping out to another driver soon enough. One second is the gap now, the difference in lap time for the previous lap. The Mustang in front, Chris Davis, set at 2:19.317, and then the POV car, the Aston Martin of Emre Burak Sonmez, set at 2:18.9. So about 4/10 gain on that previous lap. Gap is, as I said, 1 second now, but of course Sonmez is looking to reduce that gap, get in that position, and take that pole. Race, of course, is held by ACM Racing. We host up to 6 events every week. We have an endurance race every weekend, for 6 weeks straight, followed by one break weekend, followed by another 6 weeks. Next weekend we have 4 hours of Brands Hatch, which has about 63 or so teams signed up. Hopefully we should have a full grid at Brands Hatch for that one. And then the weekend after we have 8 hours of Nordschleife, which is currently got 33 teams signed up. Hopefully have a little more by the time that comes around. We have a break week after that, and then 6 hours of Imola, resuming on the 4th of April. Of course, we have sprint races during the week as well. If you want to get used to racing on ACC, if you're new to ACC, you haven't found a team yet to do these endurance races, you can do our sprint races. There's plenty of people take part in those. The mini endurance on Thursdays, for example, is a great way to get into endurance racing, find a team, and get used to these longer sort of formats. It mirrors these longer endurance races. It has a 65-minute stint timer as well. It has races between 90 minutes and 180 minutes, so anywhere between an hour and a half to 3 hours long. And then of course we have the shorter races on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday as well. Those races are anywhere between half an hour to 60 minutes long. Varying range of formats, tracks, cars, time of days, weather, etc. Thanks for checking us out. ACM-racing.com is the place to be. My team in the car number 340 made up some positions. That's driven currently by Marcel Hafenrieke. Marcel in the Chaos Racing. These guys started in P28. They've lost 3 positions since the start of this race, but been a good comeback so far. Towards the end of the stint as well. Cars behind have just finished their stint. But in the next 10 or so minutes, Marcel will be heading into the pit lane to swap out tyres and drivers and so on, but a very good race for these guys so far. Now only 9 seconds back from P30, so potentially a position there to be gained as well. Our eyes on that. Sonmez is now within 0.6 seconds of P4. Chris Davis, that Mustang, the red Mustang that you can see in front, is the P4 position and the one that Sonmez is trying to gain. See that time being slowly gained, just each corner a little bit. Lexus 1 and 2. Hashtag Lexus Elite. Yep, that's true. The Lexus is in P1 and P2 at the moment. Both of the same team. They were under pressure from Max Hussle in P3 at the start of this race. But Max Hussle did drop back a little bit. Teammate got in. Wasn't quite as fast as Max Hussle, so a few positions were dropped, and now there's a 37-second gap. Nothing too major. Of course, there's 21 hours left of the race. But of course, Lexus 1 and 2 is currently the Lexus Elite. Sonmez still gaining on Davis. We can see 0.4 seconds between these guys now. Gap is ever so slightly coming down each lap. The lap time difference on the previous lap was 5/10 between the two. We'll see what it is this lap. I have a feeling it might be 5/10 as well. 0.4 seconds separates them as they cross the line. The Mustang of Chris Davis in front set at 218.995, and the POV car, the Aston Martin of Sonmez, set at 218.802, so about 2/10 gained on that previous lap. Sonmez will be looking to apply the pressure, force a mistake into Davis, and gain that P4 position. Sonmez now 0.5 seconds back. Chris Davis going wide on that corner there. Notice on the left hand side of your screen as well, Slash in Darkness now has a drive-through penalty unfortunately, so that must be for track limits that was gained. Further back in P20, Golzelnik 0.9 seconds back from Martinez at the moment. Potentially a position to be gained there. Back up at the front on Sonmez though, 0.4 seconds. Slowly trying to force a mistake. Next lot of penalty donations will come in the next sort of 10 minutes or so. So of course, if you do want to donate to the Breast Cancer Now charity, the research and support charity, then please do donate. Of course, you can get penalties and ballast added to other drivers of the teams as a result of your donations. Everything you need to know about that is at acm-racing.com/fundraiser, and you can see all the pricing, all the rules, and so on. Don't currently have anything to be applied for this hour. Of course, 21 hours remain in the race. Anything that's done this hour doesn't really have much of an effect on the end of this race. We do sort of expect it to slow down. But of course, if you do want to donate, please do donate. Excellent cause. Stay on board with Sonmez for now. See what they can do on the battle with Chris Davis, braking very late into that corner. Chris Davis therefore having a better chicane. Better line into these corners as well. A little bit unsteady from the number 274 Baller Squad Racing Aston Martin. Allowed 0.9 seconds to a second to be gained from Chris Davis. Chris Davis does go wide on this corner though, and of course will lose a tenth of a second. As this third hour is coming to a close, I will unfortunately have to be ending the stream soon. Back on later on in this race though. The final few hours of this race, of course, 24 hours, and a lot to be done. Been an excellent first few hours though. £300 has been raised for charity so far, and of course we're able to donate throughout the rest of the race as well. And I will be back for more commentary tomorrow for the final hour, which is where there is a what's known as a crazy hour, where donation penalties will be applied immediately until the last 10 minutes. So thank you very much for coming along and watching the stream. This has been ACM Racing with the 24 hours of Spa for Breast Cancer Now. If you do fancy checking us out, acm-racing.com is the place to go. Thank you very much for watching. I've been your host, Harry Goswell, and I will see you in the next one.